Hello. Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. I am actually waiting for somebody to jump on live with me. Sorry.
Oh, okay, no worry. You want to battle?
Okay, I don't know how to add her. Ah, how do I do this? Search, maybe like that. Let's try this. Not, oh, girl, get on live. Hey, is the vibe like spooky ish? It's got Freddy Krueger up there. Let me try again to find her. We're waiting on Jennifer to get on live. Oh, what is that? That's cute. Hey. Okay, I don't know how to work. Invite to join live. Y'all have to bear with me while I figure this shit out. Because first I have to find Jennifer. She's still not on live. And then, hey, you. How do I request a moderator or whatever the fuck? So if I add her as a host, is that not doing the same thing? Oh, no, 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 no. What does that mean? Oh, okay. I think I figured it out, D. Hold on. Um, 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 um. Oh. Oh, did I already make you a moderator before, Dom, for something? I think I've been on live for like 5 minutes my whole life. Well, howdy, partner. Where are you at, Jennifer? It's not letting me go. It's saying, what? Hold on one second. At Jennifer? It's not letting me go. It's saying, what? Hold on one second. At Jennifer? It's not letting me go. It's saying, what? Hold on one second. At Jennifer? It's not letting me go. It's saying, what? Hold on one second. Okay. She's having technical difficulties. Hey! I think maybe she's never gone live because she said it told her that it has to like review her age or some shit. So I told her to come here. Oh, I don't like it like that.
Hey girl,
Hey.
it's only letting me be audio.
No.
I know, what the heck? It told me it can take, did it tell you to do that?
No, have you ever gone live before?
Yeah, one time.
Oh, that's weird.
I know. It says it can take up to 24 hours.
Boo.
Oh well, I'll just be on here for now. I'm
Well,
happy about it. I did my makeup and everything.
I know, and you look so cute.
Oh well, maybe I'll try to get out later and go back and check it out. But I tried 3 times to go on. I had to go through and show my driver's license and do all kinds of stuff.
But we got to figure it out before next week because next week is your segment.
I know. I know.
I know.
All right.
Okay, well, I guess we can get started. It is
This
8:03.
person's saying I have to be in the live. Oh, Dominique's a mod too. Hey, Dom.
Yep.
You won't see the
And
comments on this.
D. So we have D and Dom that are gonna mod.
Cool. Guess what I can do when you can't see me, though?
Oh yeah, you don't have to get out the screen like you said you were going to.
I'm so mad because some of my friends are coming, and they're
Man.
not going to see that I'm live.
They'll see your little box, hopefully, at the bottom.
No, I'm wondering if it even shows that I'm like live.
Oh, that's right, that's right. On your little
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm going to share this live. How about that?
Okay.
Why won't it just let me share it on TikTok?
So y'all have to work with us here because neither one of us are used to going live on TikTok. So this is like a whole new experience. And I've been nervous for like the past 4 days about this because I get anxiety and I'm a weirdo. And when I'm recording, I can just like stop and pause and rewind and, whatever, whatever. And now I have to just act natural.
I can gift you. I'll have to recharge my tokens or whatever. Well, you gonna get started, ma'am? She
All
wrote a
right.
beautiful little paper.
I wrote a whole presentation for you guys. Okay, so just for housekeeping, remember that this is our first try, so there's gonna be hiccups, and I kind of sort of expect some issues because there's cuckoo people who follow that one family member of mine, and these women cannot stand me because I am loud and correct. Okay, so if that happens and
Go
they mess
Burrow.
this up, then Jennifer and I are gonna just like jump off of live, record it on like FaceTime and like screen record, and then come back and share those videos to our TikToks. Hopefully, we won't have to do that because we're not doing anything wrong. So hopefully, we won't have to do that. But I am gonna be reading off of paper because I want to make sure that I'm not saying,
What happened? Um,
That's like my Cajun side. So she did try to teach me like a little bit, but I was young, so I probably forgot more than I remembered. And it looks like we totally lost Jennifer. Hopefully she'll be back. But one time my mom brought me to this fake neighborhood place. It was like this plot of land and it had all these little tiny houses that were brought from somewhere on the bayou to that place. So some of the houses you can walk inside and some of them were in pretty bad shape. So like you couldn't walk in them at all. And they were built like in the 1800s. And at least some of them were built right next to the bayou. Hold on. Let me let Dom in. How do I do that? Accept.
Hi, Candice.
Hi.
Okay, so you're gonna have to like start all over. Um,
No.
for like, I don't know, maybe like 2 minutes, it was like frozen and we didn't hear nothing. Jennifer, she went and tried to go live again, so I'm pretty sure she's gonna be back. If it doesn't work. But yeah, you're gonna have to start over. So I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna
I'm
get them.
sorry.
Love you.
No, stay.
Wait, you want me to stay?
Yeah, I need support.
Okay. Oh, there she is. There's
Just
Jennifer.
sent my guest request. Oh, okay.
You see.
hey,
Her crickets.
can you hear me?
Alive. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I went back out to see if I could come back in, and it still says it is reviewing my age. I'm 50 years old.
So there's a quicker way to do it.
She done
Wait.
muted herself.
Sorry. Either way though, I don't think you can co-host with her since you haven't been live. You have to go live for like 3 days for 30 minutes to get the full.
I guess I'll be going live, ma'am.
Oh yeah, we're both gonna have to like go live a lot or something until
No,
before next
you're
week
good,
comes.
Candice.
Me, I'm good. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been
Okay.
live before?
I mean, one like maybe twice when I was doing my makeup in the morning, I think.
Oh, yeah, you did, because I was on that. The only time I went on live was during that Tyson Jake Paul fight.
Well, apparently while I was reading, it went mute, and
Oh, yeah, there
so
was
I
nothing.
had
There
to
was
start
nothing.
all over.
Well,
I
we're,
already
we're
feel like
here.
I'm gonna throw
What's
up.
what's what's your first live without some snafus?
Oh, right.
Let's just try not to get shabanned.
Hey, Becca, I miss your face. All right, do y'all remember what you did here? Like, do I need to
Nothing.
go all the way over?
Absolutely nothing. Start from the beginning.
Okay. Okay, so now that you guys are on there, if I stop hearing you, then I'm just gonna stop talking because I'm gonna assume that means it's blank or whatever. All right, so tonight we are gonna be talking about Marie Delphine LaLaurie. Oh, and if you missed the beginning, I am going to be reading from paper. I wrote a whole script, and this is so that I can make sure I don't say the words that shall not be named, okay? So this is like insurance. So we're going to talk about Marie Delphine LaLaurie. Some of you may know her from American Horror Story, and some of you may be from New Orleans, and therefore you've been known about her. But either way, hopefully we're going to give you some information that you haven't heard yet. That was cute, whatever that was. Anyway, and we sure hope you enjoy it because while I was researching for this, I learned things that even I didn't know. So first, I'm gonna start off with a little bit of Louisiana history, just to sort of get you guys in the mood, so to speak. Okay. In 1803, President Jefferson purchased Louisiana from the French. It was about 530 million acres of land, and he paid about $15 million. $15 million is a lot of money, especially for back then. But if you think about 530 million acres of land, that is a lot. So they really bought it for a steal, to be fair. Jefferson then appointed William Claiborne as the first governor of Louisiana. And at that time, most of the New Orleans residents only spoke French. They had never lived in a democracy. So it was quite a bit of a legal confusion and a lot of complications. Strong cultural differences between English-speaking Americans who are heading into New Orleans and the French-speaking Creoles who already resided there resulted in some serious tensions, and it marked the beginning of the end for Creole culture. If you're from Louisiana, then you already know that a lot of us who are from there, we try to keep that culture alive, some better than others. A lot of us have lost that culture altogether. There was a time where Cajuns and Creoles were considered dirty. They were ridiculed, and that culture was slowly stripped from them. And this was even still happening not that long ago. A young lady commented on one of my videos, I think a week or two ago, and she told me that when her dad was in school, he would be abused if he didn't speak English. So
Yep.
this is like literally not that long ago.
No, happened to my grandma too.
Yeah, it's really sad.
And my friend's
Unfortunately, go ahead.
and my friend's husband. It's called they are now doing a French immersion schools there to teach French again. But it's called the Lost Generation because between my grandma and like me, so like my dad's age, they weren't allowed to speak French either. But my grandmother, she was in school and would get the nuns would use a ruler. They weren't allowed to speak French. And that was like in the 20s and 30s, like 1920s and 30s.
It's so sad, literally. Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I don't really have any of those like familial stories to share because when I was younger, my mom was usually on some kind of mind altering substance or another. And then she was taken whenever I was 19. So there's not really anybody left on her side, like her dad's side of the family for me to talk to because they are the Cajun side. But one time she did bring me to this fake neighborhood place, and it was like this big plot of land that had all of these little tiny houses that were brought there from somewhere on the bayou. Some of the houses you could like walk inside of, but most of them were in pretty bad shape. They were built in the 1800s, and at least some of them were built right next to the bayou and then transported to this place. I tried looking for it when I got older so I could go back and visit as an adult, but literally nobody knew what I was talking about. One person said they think they know what I was talking about, and they think that it was destroyed by a hurricane, which is really unfortunate because it was really cool.
I think it was destroyed. There are some in St. Landry's Parish, though. There is one, and it's like these old Creole houses.
What cities is in that parish? Is that
Like,
Morgan City?
like Eunice, Crowley, Opelousas, Mamu, all those that like area there around like between Lake Charles and Lafayette, that area. That's
Okay.
like true Cajun country right there. The
'Cause I
rice.
think we were in like a Morgan City area whenever we went.
Yeah, I'll look it up and see if it still exists while you're talking.
Yeah, that would be super cool. I also remember when we would go riding like down the bayou in the boats that we would see some of those houses, and I'm sure those are probably definitely not there anymore. But one time, my mom took me to this cemetery in Morgan City. I think it was in Morgan City because my papa was the sheriff. Well, her papa was the sheriff there, but I'm not positive. Anyway, I remember being really, really amazed by this place. I was really young, but one whole side of the cemetery was filled with headstones of people with the last name of Nini, which is my mom's side of the family. And then the other side of the cemetery was filled with headstones with people with the last name Ladrigue, which is weird because my dad's family is Ladrigues. So it was Lodrigue and Lodrigus. It's not technically the same, but it was close enough. Anyway, they had this one grave there, and it's the only story that I can remember my mom told me about. This gravestone said Elvira Nini, and it had her dates of birth and when she passed. And my mama said Elvira was the first woman in our family to come here from either France or Italy. Can't remember which one. But Elvira passed in the 1800s, and her headstone was like crumbling. And I remember feeling so sad for her, like I could relate to her. I don't know if she was like, that was me in the past life or what, but I just remember feeling so sad for this poor Elvira Nini person. Anywho, for the first 50 years following the Louisiana Purchase, New Orleans was the largest American city west of the Appalachian Mountains. The South had perfect conditions for growing cotton and sugar, and the Mississippi River was used as an easy means of travel. All of this, very unfortunately, created the need for more and more enslaved people. This resulted in New Orleans becoming the largest market for enslaved people in the country at that time. The earliest evidence of enslaved people in Louisiana dates back to 1706 when they enslaved native people. But on December 7th, 1769, trading enslaved natives became banned. Yet no such laws were made for African enslaved people, unfortunately. As early as 1717, the French began forcibly importing Africans through the port of New Orleans, thus created the need for the Code Noir, which is basically like a rule book that told people how they were expected to treat their enslaved people. It contained 60 articles that defined the conditions in which they must maintain these people. And it also restricted the activities of free people of color. It also forbade the practice of any religion other than Catholicism. And y'all better give me my props for saying Catholicism right the first time, bitch. This rule book, so to speak, was created by King Louis XIV and was officially applied to Louisiana in 1724. The Code Noir, aka the Black Code, has entries that included the following items. This shit is sick, y'all. Any enslaved person, no matter race, color, gender, age, is considered property that is immune to seizure, meaning like if you owe taxes to the government or something like that, they cannot come and take them from you. Thank you. Unless you are found criminally liable for something. Also, enslaved people who worked in the houses were sort of like better, so to speak, to them than the enslaved people who worked in the fields. The house enslaved people were considered of culture, while the enslaved people who worked in the fields were considered fixtures. What fixtures meant is that they were personal property that was attached to the real estate or the business. So to kind of put this into perspective for you, if you're selling your house today, you might be like, oh yeah, I have marble countertops and a walk-in shower. Whereas back then they would be like, oh, I have like 15 enslaved people that come with the house, which is like, what? Ugh. The Code Noir stated an enslaved person could go before a judge in case of mistreatment or if they were underprovided for with necessities. But we all know that the judge probably did not care about anything they had to say. The very first article in the Code Noir speaks to the expulsion of all Jewish people from their lands due to Jewish people being sworn enemies of the Christian faith. The writers of the code believed that enslaved people of all races were humans, endowed with a soul, and therefore receptive to salvation. The code encouraged all of the enslaved to be baptized and educated into Catholicism. Now, y'all, this really sounds terrifying to me because I want you to imagine you're like the first enslaved people to come here and you probably never saw white people before, and then all of a sudden a bunch of white guys in robes are dunking you underwater and screaming like probably some fucking the power of Christ compels you type shit. And they don't even speak the language, so they were probably terrified. I literally cannot imagine. But this is also how the birth of voodoo came into existence. They had to mask their own religion from fear of persecution, and so they sort of blended their beliefs together. But that's a story for another time. This rule book also said that enslaved people were allowed to marry, but only if the master allowed it. They were supposed to bury the enslaved people in consecrated grounds if they had been baptized, but I bet you there were shallow graves everywhere. Children born to married enslaved people were also enslaved and belonged to the master of the female enslaved. It was rare, but enslaved people belonging to two different masters did get together, like maybe if they're shared neighboring fields or something. Children of a male who was enslaved and a free woman were free. But if the male were free and the woman were enslaved, the child was also enslaved. Actual relationships between a free man and an enslaved female were considered to be adulterous. If that man fathered a child with an enslaved woman and her master allowed it to happen, they were fined 2,000 pounds of sugar. And if it turned out that the master fathered a child with an enslaved woman, the woman and her child would be confiscated and wouldn't be freed until the master agreed to marry the woman, which I bet probably didn't happen very often.
That never happened, and they were not punished.
Yeah.
I have family history with that, so I can speak on that. There were lots of what they call now, the word mulatto is not like proper to use, but that's what they were called on records, and those children became owned as well.
Horrible. So for this next little part, I'm going to call enslaved people EPs just for this next little part because it's mentioned repeatedly for the next set of rules in that Code and War book. So,
and it's funny that they said they had to marry them because it was not allowed.
Right.
It was not allowed to be, even if they were a free person of color, they were not allowed to marry a Caucasian person. It was against the law. They could have relations and be in a relationship, and they could set them up like they were, I would say sugar daddy, right? We'll say that. They could set them up in apartments. They could set them up, but they could not legally marry. So it's funny that the law says that because it was not allowed.
Yeah, they were just honestly sick. They just made up rules and didn't even follow them. Made up sick rules and
hard
then
to enforce rules from a country that's, thousands of miles away too.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna call them EPs again because it's the stuff out of this rule book, and so they say that repeatedly. So EPs must never carry a weapon unless the master gives permission, and it is for hunting only. EPs belonging to different masters may not gather ever for any reason at all. EPs are not to sell sugar ever, even if the master gives permission. EPs can't sell any other commodity ever unless master allows it, which is weird. Like, if master allows it, they can sell other things, just not sugar. Sugar must have been like the toppest tier of like whatever back then.
Louisiana was sugar, like Alabama and Mississippi were cotton. So the main crop in Louisiana was sugar and sugar cane.
Got it. Okay. Masters must give food and clothes to EPs, even those who are old and sick. The fact that they say even those who are old and sick, like, duh. But then they specify the quantity, and it wasn't very much at all. EPs could testify in court, but their testimony couldn't be considered proof. So, like, okay, what the fuck is the point? EPs couldn't work or be sold on Sundays or other Catholic holidays. EPs who struck, this is crazy, EPs who struck his master, his master's mistress, or his master's wife or children would be unalived. Like, the mistress? That was, okay. Fugitive EPs who have run away and been gone for 1 month shall have his ears removed. That was the easiest way to say that, and be branded. If they left for another month, the hamstring shall be
Disengaged.
yeah, and then branded. And then if they go another month, they'll be unalived. Free people of color who harbored fugitive EPs would be abused and fined 300 pounds of sugar per day of refuge given. So, yeah, again, sugar was like all the rage back then.
It was also used as currency. That's why.
Yeah. If a master falsely accuses an EP of a crime that results in an unaliving, that person would be fined. Like, come on. So anyway, the Code Noir was a sick bitch. We have no love for her here. And over an entire century later, when Delphine's House of Horrors was discovered, this rulebook was still being used despite the Americanization of New Orleans. The rulebook absolutely allowed for cruel corporal punishment, but it did expressly forbade the owners of enslaved people from torment. And it also spoke to the punishment of those who outright unalive those that they viewed as their property, all of which the LaLauries were later found guilty of. So, okay, now I gave you a tidbit of that New Orleans history, and we're going to go ahead and jump into the story about this sick-ass bitch, okay? So, Marie Delphine LaLaurie was actually born in New Orleans. She was born in Spanish Louisiana before the Louisiana Purchase on March 19th, 1787. Really sorry to all you Pisces out there. She was one of 5 children, and her father was Louis McCarty, and his father was, y'all, this dude's name, Barthélemy McCarty. Pretty sure I said that right. Moved his family to New Orleans from Ireland in 1730 during the French colonial period. Back then, people was always shortening their names to try and be more modern. I guess you could just, like, do that back then. You didn't have to, like, go to the DMV, obviously. My mom told me that our last name used to be something like Triska Vanini, and then when they made it to Louisiana, they just changed it to Nini to try to fit in better, which I guess I can understand because, you know, anything different, they would not be happy. So the McCartys were originally McCarthy, and they changed to McCarty, which they might as well have just left it alone. Delphine's mother's name was Marie Jean Arable. Okay, I'm going to spell this for y'all, okay? Because I had to Google. I'm usually good at pronouncing words. Her last name is spelled L'Ereble. And Google said you pronounce it Arable. Arable. But she was also known as the Widow Comte because this was her second marriage. And I don't know, I swear I have some sort of history with Comte people. Like, it's at the tip of my brain, but I can't remember exactly. But I know that name somehow. Both of Delphine's parents were very prominent in the Creole community. And I swear, I hate even saying that this woman was Creole, but she was. Her uncle was the governor of the Spanish American provinces of Louisiana, and her cousin was the mayor of New Orleans. So she was like hella connected, okay?
She was royalty.
Yeah, for sure.
And you hate saying she's Creole, but here's the thing. Back then, the Creole was a broader term than it is now. It has become more where it's Creole people are more of a mixture of that culture and of the different nationalities that formed that culture. But back then, they called everybody in New Orleans Creole.
I'm going to just call her up. See you next Tuesday.
Yes, ma'am.
When Delphine was just 4 years old, the Haitian Revolution happened. So the Haitian Revolution was, thank you, a very successful insurrection by self-liberated enslaved people against the French colonial rule in Saint-Domingue, which is now the sovereign state of Haiti. So meaning that there were French rulers in Saint-Domingue who kept enslaved people, and then those enslaved people decided to rise up against them, and they won. So this revolution was the only known enslaved people uprising in human history that resulted in the founding of a state that was both free from enslavement and also ruled by non-whites and former captives, which is really crazy if you think about it. So good for those people. So, with that said, this Haitian revolution made enslaved holders in the USA very nervous and scared of their enslaved people potentially rebelling. Delphine's uncle had actually been unalived in 1771 by people that he enslaved. And there was a lot of conspiracy theories at the time about like groups of rebels or whatever. So all of these things together led to these enslaved people being abused really badly. The enslaved holders led from a place of ignorance and fear of an uprising. And so they would treat these people very harshly, thinking that they can prevent the insurrection, meaning the same thing that happened in Haiti. And I'm sure all of you know that harshly is not the right word, but we are limited on what we can say. It was bad times, for sure. And I'm also kind of curious about the psychology behind something like this because a young girl who had to bear witness to so much chaos and abuse on probably an almost daily situation. I didn't see a whole lot about her parents, but usually, thank you, people with that much power, they're usually not a good person. And women were also like objects back then themselves. So it makes me wonder if she were born in a different time period, would she be normal or would she still be a bad seed? That old like nature versus nurture question that's so hard to answer, you know?
But I also read something that she was kind of like her dad's little princess too. And but he also instilled a big sense of independence in her. And so she was kind of like his treasure. Um, and I when you get farther along in the story, it's one of her husbands, because she had three. One of her husbands was a dirty dog, and I from all the stuff I read when we were preparing for this, I feel like some of her tendencies may have came from his point of view on enslavement.
Mm-hmm.
Like her mind was more warped then.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of these rumors that came out after that and before she became LaLaurie. It was her second husband. So I feel like I'm not saying she didn't witness anything, or obviously she was brought up in a home that had these people there in the home and how they were treated by her parents. But that second husband and the things that he did, I think helped to warp her into this person. But all of her husbands also did disappear or pass away in strange ways as well, which some people have attributed to her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good. But I mean, honestly, I wonder sometimes, like, if I was born back then, would I be evil or would I still be the same person? I'd like to picture myself as like a leader in the Underground Railroad or something, like always doing the right thing because I try to do the right thing now. But you never know. Like, going through all the stuff that they went through back then, I feel like most people were evil, but I don't know. Anyway, marriage number one. Delphine was married for the first time at age 13 to a grown ass man named Don Anguilo, a high ranking Spanish royal officer. And this dirty booty ass motherfucker was appointed to the position of consul general and was called to appear at the royal court of Madrid. He and Delphine, who was now pregnant at the time, were on their way to go appear to that when Dirty Booty suddenly croaked. So raise your hand if you have a feeling she did it.
Well, here's the deal, too. The reason they were called to Madrid is because he married her without permission of the Spanish king. So he had a high ranking position. He was supposed to get permission for marriage. He married her, did not ask permission. And that is why he was told to come back to Madrid.
Oh, okay.
Because he didn't get the king's permission to marry her, basically.
Huh. I didn't read that part, but I'm just picturing her like I'm picturing like them riding in a carriage and they have like this enslaved person riding the horses or whatever and she just like jigs him in the ear or like probably her mom didn't want her to leave so she's like here baby put this in his drink and I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think he died on passage because she gave birth on the ship, is what I understand, on the ship back to Spain.
Well, I know it was just a few days after his passing that she gave birth to her daughter, who has a really fucking long ass name, but luckily for me, they just call her Borquita, which I love that name for some reason. Borquita is so cute. But she took her daughter back to New Orleans, and I really do think that she probably unalived him, but.
Yep, mysterious crossing over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find words.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm reading from the paper.
Mysterious, taking it to the other side.
Yep. All right. So now we're at marriage number 2. Homie was dispatched. That's right. Yeah. When Delphine was 21, she married Jean Blanc, who was a banker, a merchant, a lawyer, and a legislator. Like, period.
He was
He sounds
also
rich.
one of the biggest importers of people.
Oh, fuck that guy.
That was his job. And then they changed the law. Thomas Jefferson changed the law at that time where you could no longer import. You could only trade in domestic peoples. So they would already have to be in the United States. You were no longer allowed to import them. So he would illegally import them. And he would also do shady dealings of trading them. So that's why I said the second husband, he was doing nefarious things to bring more people in when that was outlawed, of bringing them from other countries. You couldn't bring them from Africa. You couldn't bring them from the Caribbean. You could no longer import them into New Orleans. And, because that New Orleans was one of the biggest hubs for importing people to be sold. So that made him mad because that was a big bulk of his business. So he would like hide them, like I can't think of the word I want to use, but he would
stash them away.
Yeah, they would be stashed in other. He brought them in illegally, so they would be stashed in other goods.
That's probably where she learned that shit. This second dude.
Yes.
Well, I don't know because the third one they all fucked up. Shit.
Yeah, but that third one, she was very the second one left her very wealthy. The third one was kind of a marriage of convenience, and she met him. He was supposed to be a doctor, but he never really practiced, and she met him because her daughter had back issues, and then he was younger than her. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry. Go ahead with your story.
You're good. From marriage number 2, she had 4 kids. And I just wanted to point out their names because it's crazy to me. Their names were Marie Louise Pauline, and then Louise Marie Laurie, and then Marie Louise Jean, and then Jean Pierre Paulin Blanc. She just mixed up their names or whatever, mixed matching them. The father, the husband, passed in 1816, and his passing is actually a mystery. And he just disappeared off the face of the earth, but not before leaving her a lot of money, though. Okay. And then marriage number 3. On June 25th, 1825, she married her third and final husband. He was a physician by the name of Leonard Louis Nicolas LaLaurie. What a mouthful. He was 15 years younger than his wife, who people claim that she was beautiful, by the way, that bitch. It does make me wonder, though, like back then, it was always the woman who got blamed for everything. And from what I read, which is different from what Jennifer just mentioned, I didn't see that she did any crazy shit until she got with husband number 3. But except I think that she offed her other husbands, of course.
Yeah, I think it wasn't like all the rumors started when she the reason why is maybe too is that her family owned a house in New Orleans as well as a plantation, right? So I would think that most of the EPs were kept at the plantation, right, when she was growing up, except for the house servants. But when she built the house that her and husband number three lived in, the LaLaurie mansion, that's when all the rumors started swirling because they were in town and they were very prominent in town. They were the biggest, like some of the biggest socialites. They were kind of like New Orleans royalty and everybody knew them. And when the rumors started swirling was when she married him, is when things started coming to light. But people ignored the stuff because of who she was.
And because they were all fucking fucked up in the head. But in 1831, she bought property at 1140 Royal Street, which she managed in her own name with barely any involvement from her husband. And that was a big deal back then. In 1832, she had an entire mansion built there, complete with attached quarters for enslaved people. And this gave her a very centralized position within New Orleans and probably, I'm sure, made her feel very, very powerful. She lived there with her husband and two of her daughters. But that marriage was clearly not all it was cracked up to be because on November 16th, 1832, Delphine petitioned the first judicial court for separation from bed and board from her husband because she claimed that he treated her in such a manner as to render their living together to be unsupportable. And those are claims that a few of her children supported her on too. Now, if this separation was granted, I don't know. It clearly didn't last that long if it did because her husband was there whenever this big, discovery happened.
I don't.
What?
I think he was.
Oh no, because one of the judges that were there talked to him. I'm gonna tell you what he said because he's
Okay.
a weirdo for what he
Okay.
said.
The night that it happened.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought he was gone by then because he was mysteriously vanished. So I thought by that time he was bye bye.
No, he was quoted on saying some stupid shit.
I got you. And he pretty much I think was a kept man because all the money was hers.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah. So let's see. Some tales of Delphine's treatment of the people that she enslaved between 1831 and 1834 vary. Some can be proven via written statements from lawmen at the time, and some have been sensationalized by news and media. But a lot of people believe that they were truly, truly horrible things afoot. And since people of color were not valued at the time, a lot was left out of those written statements. And I very much believe that. I will never, never, never understand how a human can look at another human and decide that they're going to do something horrible to that person. There's probably one person in the world that I would even consider doing that to, and that would be the man who took my mother from us. But even I feel like that would be hard. But anyway, the men and women enslaved to Delphine were always seen as particularly haggard and wretched when compared to other enslaved people. And so you just know it had to be bad because they were all haggard, unfortunately.
Malnourished.
Yeah. Oh, it makes me mad. In public, though, Delphine was always seen being very polite to people of color, and she truly appeared to care about their health.
Fake.
Freaking weirdo.
Fake.
Yep. Okay, so we're getting to the stuff. Okay, so trigger warning for the whole rest of the live, you guys. Okay.
Also, it was known that her daughters also looked gaunt and malnourished as well. There are articles and stuff talking about how her treatment of them wasn't always great, and that they also were not fed and things like that. Her own daughters.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I put it in here anywhere, so I might say it again. But apparently, if her daughters tried to feed those enslaved people, she would abuse her daughters for that.
Yes, she would. With she would crack the
Uh-huh.
yeah. I don't know
That
if we can
thing.
say I don't know if we can say that word,
I
so
don't think so. But yeah, we get it. All right. So, funeral registers between 1830 and 1834 document the passing of 12 people. That's 12 people in 4 years. And those are just the ones that are documented. So I'm sure that they probably had some shallow holes out there, and some were not documented. There's
they were
no
on the
cause of
floorboard.
death. Mm-hmm.
They were found later.
Oh, they were under the floorboard?
They found different people have owned that house because it still stands. Different people have owned that house, and during renovations, there were bodies found under floorboards.
What?
Yes, remains.
Wow. Oh, that would be trippy.
That's why the house is haunted. That's why I could not cross the road.
Well, they do list some names for some of those 12 people, and this is really sad. They don't list a cause of the passing, but they list the names. So there was a maid named Bonnie who was only 30 years old. Juliet was 13, Florence was 10, Jules was 6, and Leontine was 4. That was all Bonnie's children. So obviously that's not an accident. Either those children saw something happening to their mom, or they did something to her kids to make her do something or
Yeah,
something.
that's what I think.
But
I think she did that to the kids to keep the mom in line.
she's so. Ooh. But Bonnie had previously been enslaved by a refugee who described her during the sale as a chronic runaway, which I say good job, Bonnie. Like, obviously she didn't get a happy ending, but it sounds like she never gave up, and that's awesome for her. I hope she's living her bestest afterlife. Oh, poor Bonnie. There are court
Bonnie's still
records.
there. Bonnie's still there causing all that.
Yeah, don't people say that, like, they see a maid or something?
Yeah, they see lots of things.
I'm not gonna lie, I want to go there.
You've never been? You grew up there.
I've been to the outside of it, but I want to go inside. I want to like stay the night.
Uh-uh. No, ma'am. I'll take you. We should go.
I really want to go. Like, I love creepy. And that, what is that? The Myrtles Plantation. I want to go there too because
I'm not
I
going
just
inside, but I
want to
can't
see
even
a
cross the
ghost.
road. Ma'am, Say, I feel something on my shoulder and I'll have to punch the air. The haunts and the spooks. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'll be like, there's a person standing behind you. They wanted me to give you a message.
Yeah. And somebody said Lizzie Borden's house. That would be cool too.
No, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. So there are court records that show Delphine freed 2 captive enslaved people, Jean Louis in 1819 and somebody just called the Vents in 1832. And she's so weird. Like, why is she freeing people she can't stand? Did they have the magic stick? I don't know. Or was it for show to pretend like she was a good person? Or was she just crazy? Because I know that people can develop, and I don't know if we can say like specific mental illness names on here or not, but I know people can develop that one that makes you like see and hear things. And so I wonder if maybe that came into play later on, because she really is a conundrum. I don't know. She's just a weirdo. But there was hella rumors around town of her mistreatment of the people that she enslaved. So much so that a local lawyer was dispatched to her property to remind her of the laws pertaining to the upkeep of her property. During his visit, the lawyer claimed that he found no evidence of wrongdoing or mistreatment by the LaLauries. But, like, what was his definition of mistreatment? Because if she was described as beautiful, he probably walked up in there and was like, "Bet, my job's done. Like, she ain't did shit. She straight. She fine." All right, now I want to paint you guys a picture really quick. So try to envision in New Orleans, in the city, most of these homes were kind of built fairly close to each other. Oh, wait, what's going on? Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's making me do like a puzzle or something.
Oh, probably because we've been on for like almost an hour.
Okay. Okay, it's gone. All right. Cool. All right. So in New Orleans, most of these homes were built fairly close to each other, and a lot of them obviously are still standing today, whether they have been rebuilt or not, probably. But if you can't imagine what I'm describing, you can go to Google and type in Bourbon Street and look at those pictures. They're all businesses now, but you'll get the picture. They have balconies that overlook the streets. And like if I'm standing on my balcony and my neighbor has their doors open, I can see inside of their house. And in the days before AC, in a place hot as New Orleans, your doors and your windows are going to be open, like for show. So one day, an enslaved girl named Leah, between the ages of 8 to 10, they're not sure, was brushing Delphine's hair. And she happened to hit a snag that kind of like pulled Delphine's head back a little bit. And well, according to the neighbor across the street, this set Delphine the fuck off. She grabbed and she just went to town on this poor baby. And reports say that the screams could be heard all over the mansion, and they were like curdling. The neighbors screamed that she was going to go get the law, but obviously Delphine knew that she didn't have nothing to worry about because that was like pretty much her family. She was dang near royalty in New Orleans, and she didn't stop. The little girl was trying to run from her. And this is where accounts get mixed up because some say that Delphine threw the girl from the balcony, and others say that the girl was backing up further and further, trying to get away from her. And she slipped and she fell to her unaliving. Either way, it's 100% Delphine's fault. But this incident led to an investigation of the LaLauries in which they were found guilty of illegal cruelty. And guess what the punishment was? Illegal cruelty, because this girl fell to her unaliving. They had to give up 9 of their enslaved people. That's it. Nothing happened to them at all. They just had to get rid of these 9 people. And then guess what else?
She brought them back.
They were brought right back because her family are the ones that took them. So like as soon as whoever it was wasn't paying attention, they were brought right back. And so I just want y'all to slow down a little bit and take a moment to truly soak in what I just said, because these people were found guilty of cruelty to humans. And the only punishment that they received was to give up 9 people. People of color were viewed as property back then. And so this was like saying, hey, you can't harm humans. That's wrong. Now give me your makeup palettes. Like that's pretty much how that went. And then not just that, but imagine being those enslaved people. They've clearly been mistreated. One of their own has just fallen to her passing. And you could maybe be next, but then wow, you get to leave. Somebody's come to save you. And you don't know what's going to happen yet, but you're like praying so hard that it's going to be better than where you've been. You're filled with so much hope for the first time in such a long time. You're starting to dream of better days, and then boom, the carriage fucking pulls right back up to none other than the LaLaurie house, and all your hopes and dreams have been squashed, and now you're back in the house of horrors. I cannot imagine. Another story claims that this "see you next Tuesday" would keep her cook chained up to the stove and starve her. If she tried to eat anything, her daughters would be shabused right in front of her. So again, try to picture that. Imagine the psychological warfare of that.
He chained her supposedly because she ran.
Oh.
That was like one account, and the other one is just because she was crazy. Not that the person was crazy, that
right.
LaLaurie was crazy. But yeah, she chained her to the stove, the cook.
It's
well documented.
Like I can't even imagine. You're starving, right? You haven't eaten anything in God knows how long. Like when I don't eat, I start shaking and I get weak. And if you go long enough, you're going to be in pain. So then you get food, but you can't eat it. You have to touch it and prepare it and handle it, but you can't eat it. And probably normally you would just go ahead and take the chance of stealing some of it, but you can't, because if you get caught, then your daughters are going to have to suffer. And that hurts more than starving. So you just go hungry, you just endure. And I can't imagine. I was telling my 17-year-old son about this one because this one really got to me. And he doesn't curse in front of me, but he basically said, "Fuck them kids." And it made me realize that, like, only a parent can understand what it means to struggle for your child. You wouldn't just do that for anybody. Like, when my fat ass don't eat, I'm shaking and I'm like, oh, but I would shake my ass all the way to the grave for my kids. I'll tell you what. On April 10th, 1834, a fire broke out that started in the kitchen. When police and firefighters arrived, they found that the 70-year-old cook was chained to the stove by her ankle. The cook later said that she's the one who started the fire. She said she was trying to unalive herself because she feared she was going to get in trouble. She stated that enslaved people who went up to the top room never came back, and she did not want to be one of them. I wish I knew her name, but I didn't.
Also, the night of the fire, there was a party going on in the house. One of the weekly parties. They had parties every week, big soirees, and there was a party going on that night, supposedly.
I hate that bitch.
And then when the police or firemen or whoever arrived to take care of the fire, she was requesting that everyone only take her belongings out of the house, her art, her furniture, her expensive stuff. And they said, well, what about your enslaved peoples? And she said, I don't care about them. I want my stuff. And that's what prompted the policeman to look around.
She trifling.
Well, she didn't want them going upstairs.
Yeah, she wouldn't give them the key to the door. They had to literally bust the door down because she refused to give them the key.
Yes.
And apparently, when they did bust the door down, what they found in there is probably stayed with them for life. And again, y'all gotta work with me here because I'm gonna be graphic, but I'm just hoping that I'm gonna say the right words, that I don't get a ding, because 7 people were in there in horrific shape, disfigured would be a word. Some were suspended by their necks. Limbs were torn and stretched from one extremity to another. They say that her appetite for sadism could not be appeased, and like, there were men with holes in their buttock where skin was away. Some people were flayed, stuck in restrictive postures, ears gone, eyeballs gone, fingernails gone, lips sewn together. And again, remember, some of this is verified and some of this was like rumor.
Conjecture. Yeah, conjecture, because the one newspaper, the something Bee, it was the New Orleans Bee or something.
Uh-huh.
Some accounts say that newspaper is kind of like the National Enquirer or TMZ. And they even talked about even more stuff, but some of it was actually verified about there was one woman whose limbs had been broken and were in the state of healing that they had been set in ways to make her appear like a crab.
Yep.
They were, set in ways that were unnatural. And also one of the men had how do you say this? I don't know what you can get dinged for. There was a hole in his cranium with
festering,
but also with exposed thinking matter that had been scrambled like an egg.
She was sick, bro. Honestly, with all of that said, it's the fingernails for me. Like, I can't. Oh my God, the fingernails.
The worst for me is when appendages of reproductive nature were removed and put on opposite genders.
Mm-hmm.
So they were removed and sewn on to opposite genders.
Yep.
And I think that's where her husband, who was a doctor, some accounts say he was a dentist, but he never practiced. Some accounts say he was a doctor, but he was more of a doctor like of chiropractic nature, because supposedly it had to do with her daughter and her back, and that's how that she met him. But that when these experiments per se makes me think he had something to do with it, because it would have come from a medical background.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing.
Someone asked, Trish asked, what was her name again? Madam LaLaurie.
Marie Delphine LaLaurie.
LaLaurie. Yes, if that's who she's asking her name.
Yep. All right, so where are we at? Okay, so Judge Jean-Francois Canarge said that he witnessed a woman wearing an iron collar and an elderly woman with a deep wound on her head who could barely walk. And this is where he said he tried asking Mr. LaLaurie, like, basically, WTF. And this motherfucker basically said, mind your business. He said, and I quote, "Some people had better stay home rather than come to others' house and dictate laws and meddle with other people's business." That statement right there just proves how fucked the world was, because for him to know that all of that chaos was just found in his home and his response was just like, why y'all in my business? It shows how far we've come, because even if somebody thinks that, like, oh, what I'm doing is okay, they'll know, like, when the cops come, like, this shit is not okay. They're not going to be like, mind your business. They're crazy.
Oh, yeah, I did just find where it says during this excitement, she and her husband left.
Mm-hmm.
But I swear on everything else, this is the first, I'm looking now, that's the first time I heard that he was still alive, is when you told me.
Yeah, because that's the last thing that I heard about him. So, like, once they leave, I don't hear. But I guess she was the one who was more, like, sensationalized, so it makes sense. But after they found all of that, it started to kind of go around town what happened. And then a mob of local citizens attacked the mansion and demolished and destroyed everything upon which they could lay their hands. And you know what? Hell yeah. Y'all go ahead with your bad self. The sheriff was sent out to stop them, but by the time he made it out there, nothing was left but the walls. And it's nice to know that nothing has changed for NOPD. They still take a really long time to get to the scene of a crime. But in this case, I'm glad for it. The shitty thing is what happened next for these enslaved people. Assuming you're thinking, like, oh, they were...
Whoa! Ma'am.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, well, I just fell.
Yeah, so some of them that live were taken to a hospital.
Well, this says, so I would think, like, oh, they were given, like, a shower, meal, medical attention, psychiatric help, maybe, but no.
The ones in the attic were supposedly taken to a sanitarium, because that's what they called, like, hospitals or something, but not many of them survived what they endured, and so they actually left this plane while they were in getting medical treatment, and a couple of them lived.
So see, this is why it's so hard to know what really happened, because what I read said that all of those people were taken to a prison and they were put behind bars so that they could be turned into a public spectacle, which makes me want to vomit. So by April 12th, which is 2 days later, apparently 4,000 people attended the viewing to convince themselves of the suffering.
Yeah, so I did read something about the 4,000 people coming by, but I heard they were trying to trying to see them out of curiosity. Mm-hmm. Like that's one of the things that I read, but there's so much out there, and obviously it's 200 years ago almost, right? So some of the accounts that I have read said that that so many people passed this building they were being held in. And you're right, it may have been a prison and said sanatorium, and one of the things that I read where they were being held and supposedly getting medical treatment, but people did try to see them and they were having to keep the hordes of people away.
Mm-hmm. Which is weird. Like, what do
They
you
probably
mean
did display them,
yourself?
sickos.
Yeah. Like, oh, cool. Look what happened to these people. No, that's not cool at all, you fucking weirdos. But then, like, later on, they went to the grounds of the mansion, which it burnt down, by the way, and they were like taking people up from shallow graves. There was even a well that had been covered, and when they uncovered it, it was a dump basically for people. LaLaurie's life after the fire is not very well known. She was able to flee New Orleans, sadly, and she fled during the mob violence that came after the fire. And I wouldn't really call that violence; I would call that necessary. But she took a carriage to the boat launch, and then a schooner, which is basically a big old sailboat. I had to Google that, to Mobile, Alabama, and then from there she went to Paris. And 2 years later, somebody visited the mansion and it was still unoccupied and badly damaged with gaping windows and empty walls. Delphine was living in Paris with some of her kids, and her son wrote to his brother in law in New Orleans. He wrote that Delphine had been very serious about returning to New Orleans. She did not understand why she had to leave in the first place, and she missed being at home. She didn't think it was a big deal. That's another reason why I'm kind of like suspecting mental health issues, because at the very least, if she was sane, she would have understood that other people thought it was bad. But they said that she was always in a bad mood and just determined to go home. But her kids were adamant about her not going home, so she ended up not returning.
Yeah. So there's also an account that she did not take her daughters, that she went to Paris alone. And that once she went under an assumed name, but she was recognized on the streets of Paris, and France was like, you got to get out.
They should have murked her.
Like, France didn't even want her there. But there's, like, again, all these different accounts, because I had read prior that her daughters went with her and they returned to New Orleans at some time. But in other accounts, I read that she fled and left them behind. But she went under an assumed name, supposedly. She didn't go by her name anymore.
Yep, that sounds like something she would do. But again, you never know. Like, she's surprising with the shit she does. But there isn't, from what I read, there wasn't a lot of clarity surrounding her death, but it's widely believed that she passed at age 62 from a boar hunting accident. And might I say, I personally hope that boar ripped her a new one. I really do.
But she supposedly also, so you know that there is a headstone with her name on it in New Orleans.
Yeah, you told me that. I've never seen it.
Yes. So there are two accounts. Some say that she did secretly come back to New Orleans later in life and lived under an assumed name. Other accounts say that her body was brought back to New Orleans for burial. It was secretly returned, and the headstone was found. The headstone was found by this man named Eugene Backes, or Bax, Backes. And it's supposed to be in the St. Louis Cemetery #1, because like there's 3 or 4 of them. But yes, supposedly that's where.
My mama's in 1 or 2. I can't remember which one.
Remember I was telling you the Lafayette Cemetery? I think I was wrong, and it's the St. Louis Cemetery. Remember, it's the one I kept telling you that I'm obsessed with. But he was a marble cutter, and he was there doing some work, and that's where he found this old metal stone with metal on top of stone with her name on it. Like, not a big mausoleum and crazy like all of those graves are there. They have like the big fancy. This was a nondescript thing with her name on it and date of passing. But some people think that her body was just brought there after. Yes, St. Louis Cemetery #1, Kat.
We all need to go on a ghost tour together.
I've been.
Me too, but we all need to go together.
I've been. I don't know if I want to do it again. It creeped me out.
Really? I
Yes, I
love it.
told you. I told you about that day.
Yeah, your story was kind of creepy. Well, you should tell it.
I will tell it when you're done.
Okay. Okay, so when you weird that we were just talking about this, but when you go on ghost tours around the city, they will take you to what they claim is the LaLaurie home. As stated before, this home was burned to the ground, so it was simply like rebuilt just to resemble it. The property is huge. It's been a public high school, a music conservatory, an apartment complex, a bar, a furniture store, and a laundromat. So the
And it was
house,
owned by Nicolas Cage.
yep, the house burned down in 1834 and then it was rebuilt in 1838. Then in the 19th century, a third floor was added as well as a rear dwelling. In 1928, with its 3 stories, this sounds so pretty. It was described as the highest building for squares around, and apparently you could walk out onto the roof and see the Mississippi River and its crescent before Jackson Square. I bet back then that was so pretty. It was it was before all the like huge skyscrapers and buildings like that were put in New Orleans. So I can speak, excuse me, from personal experience on how beautiful the house is. It is very beautiful. I took pictures of that one and the house from the originals. All of those old school New Orleans houses are really beautiful. Like you go through these like iron on most of the houses, you go through these iron gates into these huge courtyards with fountains in the middle and greenery all around on the sides with balconies overlooking the courtyard, a bunch of French doors surrounding where like it goes into different rooms and usually they have different themes and stuff. Bro, one time for Mardi Gras, when I was like 15, I went with my best friend Amanda to one of these places. This lady was so rich. She had the most amazing makeup, and we robbed her. And wait. Her bathroom had a balcony that overlooked the streets, and it was like fresh, cool air coming in. We went in her bathroom together. We rooted through her stuff, and we took everything. But before you feel bad for this lady, she was
Wait a
up
minute.
there doing illegal substances with us. Like we were 14 and she was like 40 and she was doing illegal substances with us. So as a grown up, I don't feel bad for her. I kind of felt bad for her back then, but I don't feel bad for her now.
Pause. Wait, let's
She's
rewind a
like,
little
she has some really nice makeup. I'm wearing it today. That's where my love of makeup began. On that fateful day.
Yep. All right. So yeah, in 2007, Nicolas Cage bought the house for 3.45 million bucks. And if you don't know who that is, he's in everything. The mortgage
Until he bought that
documents,
house.
yeah, the mortgage documents were arranged where it didn't mention his name, but then not long after that, it got foreclosed on. How his rich ass gets foreclosed on, bruh?
Because supposedly it's a curse. They
Oh,
said that like after he bought the house, he had financial issues and he wasn't getting as many roles. And if you notice, like what year did that
07, he bought it.
yeah, but I'm trying to think. So he did like where he was that Ghost Rider guy, and
Yes.
then he was on Search for the Declaration of Independence. That movie, those movies, but like you don't really he. I think here in the last couple years he's done a few things,
Weird
but
shit. Yeah.
supposedly the rumor was because of the curse of the mansion he started having financial downfalls after he purchased it. You know.
That checks out. That checks out. Well, when it did get foreclosed on, Regions Bank bought it, and now the current owner bought it in 2010 for $2.1 million.
Yeah, it was apartments for a while, but I think it's back to being a single residence, and that's why you can't go in it.
The end.
Well, you have to talk about the hauntings though,
Well,
because it's supposedly the most haunted house and area in New Orleans, and supposedly the most seen apparition is the little girl who fell or was pushed, because that happened in the courtyard. And so that is supposed to be the most seen apparition. But there's been reports of passerbys just walking by and hearing wailing, hearing groans, people seeing things. But the one that they say they see the most is the little girl who I think her name was Leah.
Yeah.
That it's her. That she is known to be in that courtyard area where she fell or was pushed. But passerbys have been known to hear things, and people who have any kind of empathy or any type of intuition, sixth sense like that, they say that it's a very negative, dark, you can feel the heaviness when you are in the area. And I can attest to that, because when I went on the ghost tour, they start out, you're across the street from it, and then they take you up to like where the railings and stuff are. And I could not cross the street because it was a very almost like pressure. I couldn't breathe. It was very heavy. Like you could feel it on your skin.
I want to go.
You want to go? Don't go with me. People try to talk to us.
Oh, you have to come then.
Oh, I don't know. But it is still the most haunted house, and it's there, and it's a beautiful home, but horrible things happen there.
Yep.
So
I didn't pick up on any of the haunted stuff when I was doing my research, or I probably would have researched into that too.
Oh yeah, if you do it, I mean, I'm looking at some. It's the number one most haunted house in the New Orleans French Quarter. And so, like at one time, she would have probably rolled in her grave, because after the Civil War, during Reconstruction, the house was actually used for a school, which I think you mentioned. But in that school, both white and children of color were both taught together until some grungy old white people had a problem with it. And so they came and broke that up. But she probably would have shit a brick if she knew that children of color were being taught there in her home. And it just says that it says in the days following Reconstruction, following the Civil War, the mansion became a lower girls' school. And during the government of the carpetbaggers, whites and people of color were taught in the same rooms until the formation of the White League in 1874, when they marched on the house and expelled the black pupils. And in the 1880s is when it became the Conservatory of Music. But it says no matter who has lived in it since, or the manner of business that was carried on in the ground floor, the name haunted has clung to it in spite of testimonies of those inhabiting the place that ghosts have never disturbed their slumbers. But yeah, and then there's a marble cutter's discovery, and that's when I was telling you about where they found the copper plate. Madame LaLaurie, Marine Delphine McCarty, deceased in Paris on the 7th of December, 1842. And it was discovered in 1924.
Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch.
Well, thank y'all for coming on our live, even though we had a little hiccups, but I think we did good.
Y'all need to come back next week, because we are going to switch it up every week. So next week, Jennifer is going to be the main host telling the story, and I'm just going to kind of chime in here and there like she did this time.
Yes, and next week we are going to talk about the area I'm from, which is the Calder Unaliving Fields in League City, Texas, and also the I-45 corridor unalivings, and all the different serial unalivers who have inhabited that and used that as their hunting ground for several decades. We're going to kind of do a general overview of that. talking about, I had two acquaintances who actually went missing and were unalived during between the 1980s and in the late 1990s. I wouldn't say they were my friends. They ran in the same circles as me. I did know one of them. She was in theater and did theater with me, and it really hit our community hard when she was first went missing. But anyway, so we're going to touch on that a little bit, but we're going to touch on the general area and the mystery that surrounds it, and how I lived just a few miles from these fields that are called a word that starts with K, but unaliving fields in League City on Calder Road, and how those girls all went missing from, well, some of them went missing from a certain payphone at a convenience store that I used to frequent during the same time, and I was just a few years younger than them, so it's kind of creepy.
Jennifer has some cool stories to tell. You should tell. Do you want to tell your story from when you went to the
to New Orleans? Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't believe in this stuff, and a lot of people get weirded out, so I don't share it a whole lot. But I'm kind of like, I wouldn't say clairvoyant, but I am connected a little bit and do get messages. And I can feel when things are around me. Well, I was in New Orleans a few years ago, and I was in the French Quarter all by myself, and I love to take pictures. I love to do photography, and I especially love the architecture of the French Quarters. It's very beguiling to me. And so I set out in the French Quarter with my camera, and I just went wherever the wind blew. Like, oh, I'm going to go down this road. I'm going to go down this road. And I just took pictures of certain things. And the first stop was this beautiful home, and it had this outside marble staircase that came down kind of in a curve. And I'm like, oh, that's beautiful, because it had some kind of vine growing on it, like maybe bougainvillea or something. I'm like, oh, that's really beautiful. So I took a picture of that. And then I walked on down the road, and I came across this church, and I took a picture of the church. But the way that the sun was casting these shadows and was on the outside wall of this church. And so I tried to capture that, and I kept walking. I came across another house that had one of these beautiful, they have these beautiful outside porches with the railings that are, they're made out of like iron, and they have like fleur-de-lis and all like beautiful carvings and stuff. And so I took a picture of that, and I just went on and on taking pictures. And later that evening, I was meeting up with my partner at the time for dinner, and then we were going on the ghost tour when the ghost tour starts at dark. So I think we had to be there at like 7:30 or 8 p.m. And we start walking on this ghost tour, and the very first house we came to was the house I took a picture of. And the stairway that I took a picture of, the lady was like, on this stairway, it is known that there was a colonel who lived here, and he's known, you can see him at night, his ghost walking up and down this stairway. And I'm like, I look at my partner, I'm like, oh my God, this is the first picture I took today. He's like, shut up. And I'm like, no, look at my camera. And I went back and I showed him, and he was like, okay, that's weird. So we're walking along, and then we come to this church that I had been at earlier in that day. And they were basically saying this is the church and the upper windows where the coffin girls were kept. Is that what they're called? The coffin girls, right?
Yep.
Which were supposedly the first vampires brought into New Orleans. But also, it was a Catholic church, and it was where the nuns were kept as well. Mm-hmm. And I had taken a picture of that big. It's a huge fence made out of stone where the light was just right. And she was telling about how underneath there is supposedly hundreds of unwanted babies were buried. And I'm like, okay, I'm really getting creeped out. I showed my partner, I'm like, look, he's like, you've got to tell the lady. And I was like, no, we'll keep going. And so then we went to the next house, and it was where I had taken a picture of that beautiful veranda And she's like, and this is where a free woman of color lived, and she hung herself right here. And it was like the same area I took the picture. So I finally stopped her and I was like, listen, will you look at my camera real quick? And so she started going through the pictures and she was like, every picture you took is on our tour. And I had no idea, and it just made my hair stand up. And she's like, you must really be in tune with the spirit world. And I was like, yeah, thanks. But yeah. And then one stop, and it was a house I hadn't gone to. One stop was the LaLaurie Mansion, and I had not gone there that day until the ghost tour, and I just got the most ominous feeling, and I could not go anywhere near that. And then we also went to Lafitte's blacksmith shop, which was belonged to Jean Lafitte, the pirate, and now it's a pub or a bar. It's like, I think, the oldest bar in New Orleans. And so before we went in, she said she got my attention, and she was like, okay, I want you to go in, tell me what you feel, and then come back out. And before I tell the tour about this haunted place, I want to know what you feel. And so I went in there, and I went towards the bathroom, and right where I went to the bathroom, it's near the courtyard, and I felt a complete cold spot. Like when you walk through it, it was, New Orleans is hot and it is humid. And this spot felt like I was standing in air conditioning. And then I came back out and I got the creepiest feeling. There's a fireplace in there that's no longer in service, but it's just there for aesthetics. And I just I was sick to my stomach, and it just was this real heavy feeling. So I went back outside and I told her what I felt. And she was like, those are the two haunted places in there. She's like, the cold spot is where a woman took her own, how can I say that? She unalived herself. And then she said that the fireplace was known where, when the pirates were there, they would get in these fights. And so that the police and stuff wouldn't come and things like that. If someone happened to be bludgeoned, they would put the bodies into the fireplace to dispose of them. And so I was thoroughly creeped out by this point and decided I had wanted nothing to do with the ghosts of New Orleans. But I still want to go back and take more pictures. And, I will tell you this, I have never, ever gone to edit those photos.
Do you still have them?
Yes, I've never uploaded them because I did not know what I was going to see. They're on some SD card somewhere.
We have to see them.
I'll have to find the SD card, but I never uploaded them because I was afraid of what would be on there. And then this girl, Sammy, who's in the chat, she's like, I have a picture from when I was in Georgia and there was an apparition behind me. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. Like,
why doesn't this happen to me?
Hang out with me, sister. I'll bring it to the dark side. I'll bring it to the dark side. Well, next time you go home, I'm like 4.5 hours from New Orleans.
Do I need to drive through where you're at to get home?
You could. How do you go?
Girl, I don't know wherever Google tells me to go.
Okay, so when you lived in Texas, and you would take I-10 all the way, right? From Katy.
So
yeah, from Katy, because Katy's on I-10. So you would probably just take I-10 all the way through Texas into Lake Charles and then Baton Rouge onto New Orleans, right? So I live on I-10. I'm just closer to like Beaumont.
Okay.
So I live in the alligator capital of Texas. We have a Gator Fest.
How far are you from Oklahoma City?
Girl, far. Like if I wanted to go to Oklahoma City, I would have to go to Houston and hit 45 and go north through Dallas. I'm probably like 7, maybe. How far is Oklahoma City from Dallas? 2 hours?
I think so.
So 7 hours.
You need to move out of your hobbit hole, damn it.
I'm not moving to Oklahoma with your tornadoes because I'm like a house will fall on my wicked witch ass.
Candace, it'll make it so much easier if you just move back.
I know.
Police!
But the grandbabies, I
can't. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's true. Clock me.
Hey, my son is a pilot. When he buys his own plane, I'll just have him come pick you up.
Yes, yes. I be trying to talk Justin into moving back home with the grandbabies, but now he has 2 baby mamas, so he would have to talk 2 girls into moving.
Oh, that's probably not going to happen.
Probably not gonna happen.
But yeah, if you ever, because aren't you supposed to go home soon?
Yeah, in March, at the end of March.
See, okay, I'm always going to Crowley because that's where Jacob's in college. So I'm always going to Crowley. And so from Crowley to Baton Rouge is like an hour 45. So it'd be like 2.5 hours from
I'm stopping
Crowley.
in Baton Rouge for sure because I'm getting that bitch. I'm from Louisiana palette. I swear to God, if it's the
I
last thing
thought
I'm
you
doing.
said it's
I
in
want that
Lafayette too.
too.
Is it not in Lafayette?
Yeah, they have one in Lafayette. She said Lafayette and Baton Rouge.
If I told you, find out the store because Jacob's always going to Lafayette. And so, because Lafayette from Crowley is only 25-30 minutes, he's always going to Lafayette because Crowley don't have nothing. So when he needs like to go to Academy or Dick's and places like that for sports stuff, he goes to Lafayette. And so if you can find what store it's at, I'll send his little punk ass and
The
pick it
lady
up.
who made the palette messaged me and told me. I already forgot. It's some hair shop or something.
If
But
she
yeah,
made the palette, why can't she just ship you one?
girl, I
I
don't know. I didn't want to just ask the lady that. I was kind of hinting
Look,
to it, like I'm gonna
I
pay
would.
you.
Come in.
Hey, two of my friends are coming
I
over.
do. I have 2 grandbabies. Thank you so much.
Okay, baby. What, is your dad sleeping?
Yeah,
Okay.
you know,
Okay. All right, baby.
And thank y'all
Sorry.
for the likes and the shares and the gifts. Like I wasn't expecting that. That was so
Girl, he
sweet.
is on lockdown, so he had to even ask me if a friend could stop by.
Ah,
Lockdown. Teenagers.
gotta love them.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to participate with you. I had fun.
Well, yeah, you're my partner.
And
My
now I'm
partner.
going to have to go live like 2 more times this week, so I don't know what I'll talk about. Dom, do I have to stay on for like 30 minutes?
Yep.
I suggest that.
You
Yeah.
have to. It'll tell you at the beginning of the live what you gotta stay. If it's like your beginning lives, it'll tell you. So like it told me I had to stay on 30 minutes. I think the first time I had to stay on like an hour for my last one.
What the heck am I going to talk about?
Man,
I'll
just
pop
get
in
in there.
there.
We're all gonna get in
Hey,
there. And
you know
we'll
what? I can talk about my creepy family history. I'll talk about my fifth great grandfather who signed the Texas Declaration of Independence.
Wait, are you for real?
Yes, his name was
What?
Robert Coleman, and he was murdered. Oh, he can't say that. I'm sorry.
Murdered.
He was mysteriously found unalive. Well, his body was never found. It was a mysterious drowning, but it hints back to Sam Houston, because he spoke out against Sam Houston and called him a fraud. And Sam Houston and him were like best buds. They came from Kentucky to Texas together, and he fought alongside Sam Houston at the Battle of San Jacinto. And Sam Houston always likes to say that he was this big, he fought, he did all these things, but supposedly he was hitting the pipe of the opiums, and he was not even aware of his surroundings during that big battle of San Jacinto for Texas freedom because he was
I'd be
laid
that way
out.
too if I lived back then. I'd be high in my mind. I don't care. There was
But
nothing to
when
do.
he
Shit.
he was also the first Texas Ranger, and Sam Houston stripped him of all of his titles and property when he was speaking out against him politically. And then I have my Louisiana history, which is not when you learn things about stuff that happened 200 and something years ago, it's not always things you want to learn about your family, so that's harder to talk about.
Well, it's interesting though. Shit, it ain't your fault. I'm sure we all have family members. Y'all know I got family members that do fucked up shit. That's for sure.
Yeah, but my family members back then, they had families. They had 2 families. They owned people, and it's not is something that you're shocked to learn because you think you were just, poor white trash. And then you learn things that people did. And it was a hard thing for me to learn and research. But I also found out I have a whole side of my family that are people of color. And that's because my fifth great grandfather had two families. And his son, his son was born of a free person of color, and he was the wealthiest man in that parish. And he was, half mixed heritage, and he was very wealthy and lived his life free. So it's just, it's a thing. It happened. And if we taught true history, there would be a better understanding. And people who want to say like, oh, well, that could never happen to me, or I would never do that. You haven't done your family history. You haven't seen. I have family members I have found that live all over the United States that are, if you put us next to each other, we look like every shade of the crayon box. So
let me find out that we related.
Let me find out. Listen, I have a cousin, and his name is Alex DePaul Lee. And listen, I look like Snow White. Okay, I got dark hair, and my skin is pale. Okay, he is a very dark brother. Okay, and he's helped me do my family research because he is big in genealogy, and he's actually writing a book. And he's related to me on two sides of my Louisiana family. And he calls me cousin. And let me tell you, we are opposite. I am day, he is night. It is, but he's the coolest guy. And it's neat who you can find. And I have Facebook friends now that are very distant relatives that I have found through that, who came from my fifth great grandfather's other side of the family. So, people, all these like white power people, I promise you their waters were muddied a long time ago, and they just don't know it. My
mama found out that my great grandfather is white.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, there was a time, back even with like during LaLaurie's time, before the Civil War, there were free people of color, and they were wealthy. They had a lot of rights, but there's certain things they could and could not do. But in New Orleans, it was kind of its own culture. And so they had a whole community. And, a lot of people don't know that. But yeah, so a lot of them they weren't allowed to marry, but a lot of them had relationships. My fifth great grandfather's first relationship when he arrived in New Orleans from Italy was with this woman, and he obviously loved her. He built her a home. His firstborn son was with her, and that man inherited everything he owned, even over his own white children that he had. That my grandmother's heritage comes from his white wife, but his the woman, they lived next door. They had plantations next door to each other.
Scandalous.
I know, but he couldn't marry her. It wasn't legal.
Oh.
So his children all have his first name as their last name, which was Donato. So if you know any Donatos, Dominique, I'm related to them.
Well, I'm going to have to do my little research because I have no idea.
Where are you from, though? Are you from New Orleans?
No, I'm from Houma.
Oh, you're from Houma? So
yeah.
All my family's from Eunice, Opelousas, Lafayette, Mamou, St. Landry's Parish.
Oh, okay.
But see, if you're Houma, you probably have some Native American as well.
Oh, yeah, I do. 100%.
Yeah, because those were all the Houma Indians.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is a Houma Indian.
We all I have 1%. I have 1% Native American, just one. I'm also 1% Northern African, but What ifs? And then a whole bunch of French and Italian. That's why I'm so pretty. I'm just kidding.
Yes, you are.
Period.
Only.
I see that picture, girl. I gotta go look at your
Uh-huh.
content
Oh,
that you
girl,
got going on.
I just started making content. I told Candace, like, all my stuff was created for my son when he was doing his baseball, because I was trying to get him into
Oh.
college. And that's how I started my TikTok originally, because it was a good place for me to edit his videos and be able to share it to other social media platforms. And then I just started putting my face on there. It's so hard for me to like make videos of myself.
Well, it's time.
Yeah, I put a crazy one out there this morning. I put a crazy one this morning, but
She
anyway.
went to sleep in her makeup last night. She put on red lipstick, and she woke up. The red lipstick was all over her face.
I put on red lipstick just to show Candace, because I only wear nudes, and I'm like, I'm gonna try this new red lipstick on I got from old Jeffree Star, and I put it on and I sent Candace a picture. I said, I'm gonna wear this red lipstick on our live tomorrow. And then I went to bed and I woke up this morning and my eyes were all watery because I slept in my fake eyelashes. I pulled them off and then I rubbed my eyes and I just got up out of bed and then I caught a glimpse of myself and I looked like a scary clown. I was like, what? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put myself out there. I'm gonna put myself out there for all them sugar daddies in my inbox trying to send me money because they think I'm pretty. Let them see what it really looks like. And thank the Lord my fiance was not home this morning because he would have left my ass. I showed him the video today when he got home and he was like, oh my God, why did you put that up there? I said, for views.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
For views. Well, thank you so much. I'm
Yes,
excited for
thank
next
you,
week.
everybody. I am so excited for it's going to be every Saturday at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, you guys.
Unless I got to hit the poll to start paying for these eggs.
We're trying to get famous, so do what you got to do.
Period. I had fun. This was so much fun. I can't lie. This was so good.
Because I was
Candace is going to research the Calder Road fields.
Ooh.
So she can chime in. I want you to chime in, Mama. And if you want, there's a good, I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not, but there is a documentary on it and it's the best one that's been done. And I've researched all of them and I've watched all of them. A lot of them are fictionalized or based on truth, but this one was really good.
Oh, period. Y'all go watch the Netflix thing. That way y'all can.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still on there or not. It was on there and I think it's either called something with I-45 or it's called
the Illing Fields, I think it's called, but I can't say the word, right?
Yeah, but it's the Calder. Yeah, it's called the Unaliving Fields, but with the K word. And
I think I watched that.
It's
I
really
know I did.
The one on Netflix. I'm not joking. It was the best one I've ever seen, and I lived it. That's where I live.
Yes, I did watch that. Okay.
And it's literally the fields are still there. They're oil fields, but right around it, houses are built now. Like all these neighborhoods are built now. Now there's a big baseball field built over in that area. But it was very active in the 80s, in the late 1980s, before you babies were born.
Wow.
I was cruising around there buying cigarettes at 14 years old. Back when you were allowed to do that. That's how old I am. My grandma used to send me to the store to buy her Carlton longs.
Well, you look damn good.
Yeah, well, it's all that skincare.
I know that's right.
It's that Korean skincare I got for free off of TikTok.
I know that shit works good. What you got? Do you got the pink stuff?
No, girl, I've got those little vials, the WMP vials. They're like the but I've been using the ordinary stuff changed my skin, girl. Yeah, but I don't have that one. I just have the hyaluronic acid. That's that like emergency one, right?
This the neomenicide or whatever you call it.
Oh, niaminocide?
Yeah.
I don't have that. I just have the hyaluronic acid and I have the vibrating eye cream, which is phenomenal.
That Korean skincare is the truth.
That's
Everything
what Koreans
I've tried,
look good. Well, you got all that Korean makeup too in that box that time, didn't you?
Yep.
Yep. Candace, what kind of wig you gonna wear next week, Mama?
I don't know. Should I wear a different one every week?
I love that one on you. It's my
This
favorite.
one's cute.
I don't know. You had that one on the other day that like the long, was it blonde or gray?
With the gray, yeah, but I think I'm gonna return that one because I want a wig that I can wear like every day, like to work and stuff. And I thought that had too much gray. I think
I don't know. It was cool. I liked it.
I did
Yeah,
like it.
I get when I FaceTimed Candace earlier today because I did not like the way I was looking at my lighting and I have full on gray. I have to dye my roots every 3 weeks and you could see it. So I had to get off the phone with her and go put some I had to go put some black eyeshadow in my hair.
FaceTime.
And then you can't even see me.
FaceTime.
I do that too.
Candace, what you
I did
hiding?
an eyeshadow. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I sprayed. I bought a hairspray, the colored hairspray, and
Oh.
that spray.
I had some of that too, but I always spray it on my face. So I use this like it's actually for brows and it's brown and black and it's for your eyebrows, but I just put it right on in my hair. And it gets me through because who can afford to dye their hair every 3 weeks?
I mean,
I think I
Dom,
just
you shocked that I answered a Facebook?
Yes. I'm over here flabbergasted, actually. I am
Don't
all the
answer
way
the
back
phone,
in my
y'all.
seat.
I never answer the phone, but we had to talk about this. What
yeah,
we're
we
gonna
had
do.
to talk about this, and I had to like chill her out because she was nervous.
Yes.
Not Candace.
Oh, I was so nervous. I literally the past
Mm-mm.
2 nights, I was like in my bed thinking about it. Like I'm gonna be like,
Well, I'll probably be more nervous next week because I'll be. It's just hard because you have to watch your P's and Q's and what you say and how you say it, and so that makes it like I think that's where the nerves are going to come in for me is to be cautious and not just being able to talk freely. But
Right.
yeah,
I'm gonna kind of make mine like personal because I lived during that time. I was almost kidnapped during that time,
Oh my
and
gosh.
oh yeah, and during this time that all these things were going on, and it was a
don't tell
crazy
him.
time.
Don't tell him yet.
I'm not gonna tell him, but that's what it's gonna. That's a prelude to next week, and we're gonna have some exciting things because Candace and I have been talking for a while about different stories we want to tell, and I just sent her some information about a guy we had never heard of, and so now we're gonna have to research that guy because we had never heard of him, and there's so many things, and we kind of want to do some current stuff too, like maybe Gabby Petito, because that's more current. That happened last year or the year before last.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting. And
But it definitely helps having all of you guys here, like especially Dom and D. Y'all kind of like know how lives go, so that really helped us. And
yeah,
then
thank
the
you.
people in the comments, you guys support us so much. Like that. Thank you so much.
And if
I
there's
know. I'm
any,
so proud of them. Oh, I love y'all. I just want to say that in the comments.
if there's any like other stories that y'all want to know about, I love to research. So, I'm
Yes, send
I'm
it in
kind
their
of a
inbox.
nerd. I'm kind of a nerd. So if there's like,
Me too.
listen, we can nerd out. I just bought. I'm such a geek. But anyway, we can. If there's somebody that you want us to research that maybe we don't know about, I'm happy to do that too. Because I will get lost in the interwebs.
Yup.
One thing about me, I love true crime. I absolutely, well, it's so weird to say I love true crime, but it just really captures my attention.
I
So,
think all women like true crime.
oh, that's crazy.
You always see
Because I
these
didn't know
memes.
nothing about it. Like when I was pregnant with Eva, that's when I started watching true crime, and I guess I just didn't know how dangerous the world could be and how people just disappear off the face of the earth and like no trace of them is wild to me.
Yeah, I got super into it when Jessica Kane went missing because that's the girl I knew. And then also, I think I was always kind of interested in it. But there was a time I wanted to be a forensic psychiatrist, you know, the kind that go and do the profiling. And that's when I got into reading like I would read like 600-page biographies on these different serial eaters. I'll call them serial eaters. But I got into reading about them. And then I lived alone at that time. Like I had my own house. I was an adult and I lived at home. And I would get to where I creeped myself out because I would get paranoid about constantly checking my surroundings. And because they did some crazy stuff. And I just told Candace tonight about a story in Houston. I want to talk about the real Candyman and why he was called that. But because his parents owned a candy manufacturing company that's no longer in business. But he did some wild stuff in the 70s, early 80s. So there's something about tech.
Educational, and that's why we all like get into it, because it makes us realize, hey, watch yourself when you're doing this. Like my daughter is so aggravated with me because I'll be like, when you're at the gas station, make sure you turn your car off and make sure you're looking around and make sure you have. I bought her a taser and pepper spray, and I'm like, use it if you have to. I bug her all the time.
Literally.
My friend Joel asked vibrating eye cream. You don't worry about my vibrating eye cream, Joel. I have a video on it. Go look on my page and order some for your gal friends through my showcase. Don't be hating. That's why my eyes look good. It's Korean vibrating eye cream. Okay? And it feels great. It has a stainless steel tip. It's cold. Feels good in the morning.
Oh,
and when the cream runs out, you mind your business.
Watch the descriptions there, Jennifer.
Hey, it feels great on my face.
Oh, I bet it does.
That hit me to buy.
But one day I'll have to replenish, and if the battery still operates, I'm telling you, it's that. I'm not joking. That stuff's expensive, but that tip. Just the tip. Joel always trying to be in my business. So Joel's been here on our live. I've known Joel my whole life. And
Hi, Joel.
Joel is a hot mess. And my friend Paula came in for a while, and I thought my friend Kristen was going to join, but I don't know if she did or not because I couldn't keep up with it. But I had so much fun with you ladies.
Yes.
So much fun.
Same time next week, and we're gonna talk it up. And I'm gonna I'll be going live a couple times. I guess does this count as one of my lives, Dominique?
No. Sadly.
So I got to do 3.
Yes.
Well, I'll jump on there with you to like just let me know when you want to do it. I get off at 6 every day.
You get off at 6. I'll do it in the evenings. I have to find something to talk about.
Well, we can just talk. Yeah. We fucking watch TV. It doesn't matter.
I know there's some people, they be doing the most. They be doing nothing. They're just sitting around like eating chips. Maybe I can be like one of those people that just eat food.
Yeah.
You just gotta get your time in.
All you gotta do is get your time in.
Every time I log on to TikTok, Dominique's on live. I'm like, she's on live again.
My bad.
I got on one morning. There was Dominique. I think today your babies were talking to you today.
Yeah, I had personalized some cups.
What you gotta do, Jennifer, is when Dom's live, go in her live and make a comment and say, "Hey, I'm about to go live, y'all. Dom,
yes."
Come on. And everybody's gonna go over there, and then they just gonna ask you questions. All you gotta do is start answering some of the questions that pop up, and that just keeps it flowing.
Well, then I'll just bring Dom on like this, and we can just chit chat about.
Well, okay. The only thing about that is you can't let nobody up until those 3 days are done. So I'll be in the comments though.
Mods or nothing. You don't have access to really anything. It's like It's like Coldplay. You don't get to have no mods. Anybody comes in and says whatever they want. Oh yeah,
Yeah, but see, I'm so lucky because I haven't ever had anybody say anything ugly to me on any of my videos or nothing except one lady, and TikTok flagged it for me to approve it because if you've seen all my content, Candace, do I ever talk about politics?
No.
Would you have any idea who I voted for?
No.
No. So she put on there something about me being a Trump lover, like, and it blocked. So TikTok blocked that comment where I had to approve it of whether it was allowed as a comment on my video, and talking about how I'm a Trump supporter. But I don't know how she would even come to that conclusion because I keep politics off my page.
People are just weird, bruh. I get the weirdest comments like you would not believe. I'm like, how is a puke emoji getting banned, but y'all could say this?
Oh, but that one comment I made on you about peasants, because you said peasants in your video, and I was like peasants with laughing faces, and I went there and appealed that, and I won. It took 3 days, but I won. But
now they're starting this other shit because usually I can just appeal and then it's over with. Now I have this big, I don't think other people can see it, but when I go to my page, it says warning in big red letters. And it said that's my first warning, then I'll get a strike. And if I get too many strikes, I'll be banned off TikTok. And all I said was, are you dense? That's it.
yeah, I've gotten some weird. So my friend Kate, who I made friends with, like you on TikTok, I hadn't seen her on my FYP lately, so I went to like look for her. She's gone. So I had gotten her number right when the ban happened, but I had never messaged her. I wasn't going to be weird like that. It's just if the ban was happening, we were going to have a way to stay in touch with each other, right? And so I messaged her and I'm like, "Hey girl, where you been? I ain't seen you." And did you change your name on there again? Because like sometimes she changes her name. And she's like, "No, I had to leave for a while. People are just too mean." And like her stuff is funny. Like I don't know why I never saw any hateful comments on her stuff, but I don't go read every comment. Like sometimes on your stuff I'll read comments because I'm trying to promote, right? Like on my friends, I'll go and I make sure to always comment on all my friends' stuff, even if it's just like that's cute or whatever. But like she said she had to take a mental health break, and she said she don't know if she's coming back or not. And I mean, she had a lot of followers. And her stuff was like relatable and funny, and you know, I don't know, but she was like, I had to take a mental break and I don't know if I'm going to come back because people are just too mean. And I'm like, I'm lucky because I don't have that, but I don't have that many followers. I'm just a little peon. I'm a peasant.
You gotta have thick skin for sure because
I am a peasant.
they be calling me fat. They like one person asked me if I raped my brother, basically. Like,
oh yeah,
he wouldn't be that way unless a woman did something to him. So what did you do? I'm like,
maybe because he saw a woman in his life get those things done to her. Because that also does that. Boys who watch those things happen, doesn't mean something directly happened to him. Maybe some people are just born that way too.
I'm sure his daddy had some women thrown at him when he was really young too.
Oh yeah, how about his daddy? Yeah, let's talk about that.
His dad is disgusting.
When you were talking earlier about the only person you would ever do something hateful to, I almost started quacking because I thought that's who you were talking about. I was gonna be like quack 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 quack.
That's funny.
But yeah, like I don't know. People need to back off. I don't know why people are like that. Thirsty. They're thirsty. That's why.
Jealous.
And thirsty.
Bet they wouldn't say that to my face though.
Nope.
Because I'll go.
I know people are real good behind the keyboard. What'd you say? Because you'll what?
I said because I'll go.
I don't know. I may not hit somebody, but sometimes my brakes don't work so good on my car.
Yes. Well, his name's Danny, but everybody calls him Duck.
Oh, he's
Mm.
I don't know why.
Mm.
Because he's a quack.
because he's as Dominique says, we can shaban him.
Mm-hmm.
Dominique, when you put that on your live the other day, I about fell out of my chair. He got shabanned. I
I
commented that in your live too. I commented that. I was like, not the shaband.
I can say I did not make that up.
You did it? I
But I
thought you
wish I
did. I
did.
was like, I told Candace, I was like, that girl is, I messaged her, I DM'd her, and I was like, that girl is freaking clever.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, shaband. We better watch out before we get shaband. Look, all these people stayed in here. That doesn't
No, we
sound
don't
like
have
eye
no haters in
cream.
here. That's the problem. We don't have no haters in
No, we
here.
didn't. I'm
So
surprised.
nobody's
Nope. You never
reporting.
had to block
So it's clear.
anybody or silence anybody. Nope.
We appreciate y'all all being good in the comments.
Of course,
Mm-hmm.
they scared of us. They best not come in here. They know we're good.
Oh, for
I like
real.
to know where everybody's from. Miss D, where are you from?
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
So D is I basically look at her as like my stepmom, even though she's not, because she used to be with my dad.
Oh,
So,
see, and I'm not from Louisiana, but my family is. So
I'm not the crazy one that she talks about all the time.
oh yeah, no, Marianne's dead. That's not Marianne.
Rest in peace, I guess.
I don't
Wait.
think she's resting.
Look at her face at you. Wait, hold on. Look, I'm gonna have to
She
go
gonna
back
be
and watch
resting
this
in
video
fire.
because
Yeah.
Fire.
She ain't resting in no peace at
Evil
all.
ass bitch. I mean, she was evil to me when I was a kid. She was evil to my kids. Like, she's in hell.
why are people evil?
Her dad was evil, so
burn.
she learned that shit. Her dad was,
From
I
her
mean,
dad.
he was something else. That's for sure.
My dad was with a crazy woman once. That's all right. She's drank herself into having to wear diapers now, so she.
Oh,
Yeah,
Not
she
the
has to
diapers.
literally wear diapers. I heard because she's so inebriated all the time.
oh, she crapping on herself.
She caused me a lot of turmoil.
Well,
Karma
good
is
for
a
her and being in
bitch.
diapers. Then I'm happy for her.
Sabrina. I love Sabrina. She be cracking me
That,
up.
that doesn't sound like eye cream, Sabrina. It is. I promise. I wouldn't talk about nothing else. I'm so innocent.
Didn't sound like no eye cream to me either. I was like, what?
Miss D, I will send you some. I will send you some, and you will be like, "This is the best eye cream I ever had."
I need some whole face cream.
Pause. Are we really
No,
not
it
talking
really
about
is eye cream. I swear. I swear on the Bible.
Oh.
Okay, I swear on Catholicism because I was also forced to be a Catholic. I went to Catholic school. Okay, because my family is Cajun Catholic. All right, and they're all.
Now Thing Mom is confusing
Thing
me.
Mom says multi-purpose eye cream. All right, I'll explain it to you later when we go to Discord. All right.
She got that good.
Oh, what's so? Look, everybody keeps asking me for Discord. What is Discord? I'm old. I don't know.
Well, I've been trying to get Candace on Discord, but I guess it's a good thing.
Well, because
but then I don't know.
because some of these like collaborators that message me, they want my Discord, and I don't have that.
What is it? It's just like an app where you just like text things.
You can text, you can voice.
I mean, it's originally
I know that's
for
what
gaming,
I thought it was for. Is
but
it like kind of like Reddit for that though? Like,
no, it's not like a social meet. I don't really know. All I know is that I had created a group, so we can like chat and
app
send stuff.
is what it is, and it's for gaming. It was originally for gaming, but people have like conferences on it. They have all kinds of different different people on chat.
Like a
Like,
chat room.
Oh,
Okay.
like remember them old chat rooms on AOL? Did y'all ever do
Yes,
that?
yes. That's the first time that I saw a dingaling was on AOL chat room.
I never got nothing like that. I just met people from
Whoa.
Canada. I was on this Canadian.
There's a true crime story about that too.
I
AOL
bet.
chats
Oh,
in the
they
AOL.
just arrested a
Yeah.
prominent man, a prominent business owner from my town, League City, um, because I think they were using the Book of Faces, and it was undercover sting operation, and it was a police officer, but posing as a 14-year-old girl, and this prominent business owner was soliciting, and he got arrested. I knew him.
Ooh.
And he has daughters. Sicko. I hope they put him in Gen Pop.
Yes. Yeah.
more crime stories to talk about.
I don't like talking about them too much, though. I don't like that. But what y'all gonna do the rest of this fine Saturday? Did any of y'all go to Doug's winter party? Did y'all catch the live for that? Because I missed it.
What is that?
You didn't know about Doug's winter party? That wasn't on your FYP?
Mm-mm.
We talked about it. We were on the phone the other night. That old man that went up and he was handing out, he lives in Pennsylvania, and he was handing out handwritten invitations to his neighbors to his winter party. It blew up all over the world, girl. Like other countries and people, like all these companies ended up sponsoring his party, and like in different states, like bars were hosting their own Doug's winter party in the name of Doug's winter party in this small little town in Pennsylvania. And it was today. Because so it was the lady, he brought it to this girl, her name is Misher on TikTok, and he brought it to her door and he handed it to her, and it was like a piece of paper that he had drawn snowflakes on, and it said, "Come to Doug's winter party." It said 4 p.m. until the cops arrive. And so everybody, I mean, it's been all over my FYP, like all these companies they finally were able to get in touch with that lady, Misher, who lives in his neighborhood. And all these companies sent alcohol, food, people made shirts and stuff and sent it and like made a big deal. And they went live from his little neighborhood party. It was pretty cool. But anywho. All right. Well, I'm gonna go. I'll DM y'all when I'm gonna go live, so somebody can be on it with me. I don't want to do my makeup on there because I don't know how to do makeup good.
You don't need makeup. You're beautiful.
But I can't do makeup like you do your makeup. Like, how do you? I tried one time to do it on camera and I couldn't.
You got to trust the process. That's the
No,
problem.
I can't. I just couldn't do it. I had to like get up in my mirror and like you see the side of my face. I don't know. So I'm gonna have to find. Maybe I can do a cooking live or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you can just watch TV. We can watch a show together or something. It don't matter. Anything just to get you to that level or whatever.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to before Saturday. So
What's those little blue things, Dom, on next to y'all's pictures? It has like
we got
number.
points.
That's the coins we get.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dom
okay.
got hella coins.
Cute.
I got 229. Like Dom sent. Did you send them to me or something?
Yeah, I sent coins.
Okay.
I sent
How do you
coins.
send coins?
Well, we
Okay,
send
so you click the gift box at the bottom of your screen. It says gift.
Yeah,
And then wait, hold on.
I don't see coins though.
What do you mean?
Like to send coins. Like I see. Did you like just send gifts like roses and stuff?
right.
Yeah,
We send
roses are coins, I
they
guess.
turn into
Okay, yeah, because
coins.
I couldn't see what was people were sending me, but like some people sent me stuff.
Yeah, I
Right,
didn't know
yeah.
anybody
Miss
was
D
sending
sent
you.
me some, and some other people sent me some. And
Yes.
Dom hit me up good, and so did Miss
So
Angel.
what you can do with that is you can
Yes.
turn them into gift like coins. You can swap them and get your own coins and buy your own gifts.
Yeah, I've bought like coins to send gifts. Like I've done that before, but I didn't know. Oh yeah, yeah. I've sent stuff to other people before, like when they're doing their Oh, I can't even do that. I can't even do those competitions with you, Candace. Like where you do those
Battle.
the battles. I can't even do that yet.
Yeah,
Yep,
I don't
correct.
even know how to do that. But Sabrina said, show us your vibrating eye cream on your live. That's what you can do.
I will. I'll do it. I'll do it. I have a video on my page. I posted me using that stuff.
Mhm.
I did on my face. Listen,
I guess if it's still there, Sabrina, it's legit.
it's legit. I promise, and it's amazing. It's the best.
G-Ray.
Like it's the best eye cream I've ever used. It's Korean. They know what they're doing.
They do. They sure
It's
do.
them Asians.
What they doing over there?
My son should have come on here. Oh, y'all. So Candace called me. We were talking on the phone, and my son came outside and he was like, "Who are you talking to?" And I said, "Candace." And he said, "Candace, beep, fit in your mouth." Because,
What?
and I was like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry." I go, Jacob, I go, "Why would you say that?" He goes, "Because you're punking me about who you're talking to." I said, "No, I'm talking to a real Candace." He was like, "My bad. I'm so sorry."
Oh.
I was like, "I'm going to beat him up." And Candace was like, "I like him." But yeah, I got to be careful with that one. He might be home next weekend. He'll be trying to get on here.
Yeah, he's wild, bro. He's wild.
Yeah, he's wild, but his second TikTok page, he has a main page and he has a second page that every night he goes on and does a Bible study. And I'm like, how are you trying to live by the
I
Bible?
forgot about that. He's so cute. Aw.
He has his little testimonies up there.
Yeah. Jennifer's oldest son, he has to, I think she said 7 years or something, but right now he's like a co-pilot. But
Yeah,
anyways,
he just made all of his hours. He messaged me Saturday. He made his 1,500 flight hours. So he leaves.
for the 400K.
No. He leaves. Okay. So he leaves. At the end of the month, he goes to Atlanta to finish his ATP rating, and when he gets back, he's made captain of the small airlines he's at right now, and he'll get a 20K raise for that. And then in November of this year or January of 2026, he'll go on to Southwest. And when he gets to Southwest, he'll have about 5 to 7 years to make captain there at Southwest. And when he makes captain at Southwest, that's where that big bang comes in.
400K. Y'all better get y'all a pilot.
Yeah. Get you one. I could have had one.
He's your age, Dom. He's your age.
Are you serious?
He's 24.
He's cute. He's cute.
Nah. Let him live his life because I got too much going on right now.
He's 24 and he's like
wait.
Listen, he's
No,
like
I can't do no 24-year-old. That's too
He'll
young.
be 25 in June.
Are you trying to hook me up?
Listen, he's like his daddy, okay? His daddy has always liked women with a little more melanin.
Oh, hello.
He has gone out with one girl. I call her Blasian because she was black and Asian. And then he went out with another girl who's Hispanic. But he likes more Latino or more like, I don't know. But his dad's handsome too, and he lives in Sulphur.
Daddy handsome?
Daddy's good. My ex-husband, he used to look just like Brad Pitt when we were young. But
wait, that's your ex-husband? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, my ex-husband lives in Sulphur, and he's good looking too, and he's single, and he likes.
I'm not trying to do the ex. Wait, I am so confused.
He's a good man, but my son he's 52, but my son's 20. He'll be 25 in June, but he lives in Arizona.
Okay. Oh.
He lives in Arizona. He lives in Scottsdale, and
He's pretty.
And he's single, and he lives with a couple he lives with this gay couple, and but the gay couple, the guy's partner, they own another home in Wyoming, and his partner's always in Wyoming. So Dylan, my son, and his friend Andy are always home alone. And last night, since Dylan is single and Andy's partner was in Wyoming, they went out for Palentine's Day.
Aww.
He said, if girls can have Galentines, we can have Palentines. So they went out and had Palentines. They're so funny. But yeah, Dylan, he's a good one. That my kid's amazing. I got so lucky with my kids. I did. And it's so hard for me to have them be grown folk. But Candace can probably attest to that. Your relationship with your children has how it progresses when they become adults and you have the adult child parent relationship. It's really special.
Oh yeah.
And but you just like it goes by so fast. Like I just remember all these things pop up of on Facebook memories and stuff, and it seems just like yesterday when we're doing these things and they're little and now they're like grown with their own lives and their own
Little
dreams.
assholes. Yeah.
Yeah. Now Dylan is sweet. Jacob is very sweet, but he is also an asshole. I tell him straight to
Dylan
his
is
face.
an asshole.
Pause. Oh, I miss Dylan, bruh.
Is your Dylan DY or DI?
DY.
Mine too. DY.
He's not an asshole, but he's just like me. Like he will straight up tell you about yourself. He works at KFC. He's 17.
What?
And he literally will boss everybody around. Even my husband is the boss, and so he will boss the boss around.
What? Go ahead,
Like
Dylan.
his literal boss at work too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the one that wants to be a chef.
He wanted to, yeah, but he changed his mind. Now he doesn't know what he wants to do. He just wants to make a lot of money. He said that he might want to be a lawyer because, he can argue real good with people.
Well, listen, I work with lawyers that's what I do. So I do marketing, but I work for doctors who work with lawyers. So like my target demographic for my job is lawyers. I have to go into lawyers' offices and talk to them to get them to refer cases to my doctors. But they do make hella money so I've done this for almost 15 years and I've seen some of them grow from like they were just a little bitty law firm with like the lawyer, a paralegal, and like a receptionist, right? Now that same guy, his name's David Berquist, that same guy right now has one of the like in a big building in the Galleria in Houston. He has the whole floor. And then he also has offices in Dallas and San Antonio. I mean, so in the last 15 years, I've watched him grow from being this little office to this conglomerate multi-millionaire crap. And he's fine too.
Shoot.
I went on a date with him once. But that was a long time ago. But yeah. There's a lot of money to be made if you get into the right kind of field and to be a lawyer. He can do anything he wants to do.
He definitely could do it. I mean, that boy, I thought I could argue good. That boy can argue like you don't know what. And he just doesn't care about but he's such a good person and a loving person, but he doesn't care about people's feelings when it comes to telling them about themselves.
That's Jacob. That's
he
my
will do
Jacob.
anything for anybody. Well, not anybody, but good people.
That's my Jacob, 100%. And he will tell you straight up how he feels about you. But he has the biggest heart for people. But you tell your son if that's what he wants to do, he just needs to stay in school and do good in school. And there are so many programs that he can go to school for relatively. I don't know if Oklahoma has it, but Texas has it. All these Texas state schools, I didn't know about this. I just found out about it because my stepson's about to graduate college and his grandma told me about it. If you have the grades and get accepted in Texas, if you go to a Texas state school based on income, you get free education.
Damn.
I didn't know that. You need to check Oklahoma because so now it's different schools have different demographics, right? So like you have to have a family income under 60,000 to go to this one school, but another school might be a family income of 100,000 or less, and they get all these grants to go to these schools. There's a program, and I had no idea about it, or I was a single mom. I would have qualified for these programs for my kids that I didn't know existed because nobody told me about it. But Talon's grandma's in education, so she knew about it. But the schools don't tell you that. None of the school counselors ever said, hey, these programs are available. Your kid's got a 4.2 GPA. Let's get him in school. Because I would have as a single mom, I would have qualified for those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about other states, but I do know Texas has that for any state school, like not private school, but like state, like Rice, U of H, all of those like state funded schools.
Once he decides for sure what he wants to do, anyway.
Well, he's got time to decide, because you can go to law school with any 4-year degree. You can go to law school with like criminal justice, or you could go to law school if you have a 4-year degree in biology. It don't matter. Your undergrad for law school doesn't matter. Because
I tried telling him to be a pilot after I talked to you that one night, and he was like, I ain't going up there.
I don't know how my son does it. And like, that is right now, that's my biggest regret, is that I haven't flown with him yet. I've never flown with him. And so the airline that he works for now, I can go, it's just so regional. Like, I would have to go to Albuquerque and catch a flight from Albuquerque, or I'd have to go to Phoenix and catch a flight that he's on, because they only fly to small towns, like these little small towns in New Mexico and Arizona, and sometimes he goes to Vegas, and sometimes he goes to this little airport outside of LA. But I want to go fly with him. Like, I want to be on a flight that he does. But I'm scared of those. He's on little planes right now, like that sit like 12 people.
I forgot your dad was a pilot, D. I forgot all about that.
I dated a fighter pilot. That was fun.
Dad's a pilot, and he already crashed the plane.
Oh my God.
Wait, how you gonna come up and say that?
About true crime.
Talk about true crime. Who does he fly for? Does he have his own plane? Who does he fly for?
No, he's got a private plane. He's got his own plane.
Yeah.
And I don't know, his engine killed on him. He had just taken off from the airport, out at Lakefront Airport, and he went down right on West End Boulevard, girl, right in the middle.
So both of my cousins are pilots too, but they both work at Southwest now. But my cousin, he was a fighter pilot for the Air Force. He flew F-15 Eagles, and then he went on to Southwest, but he also has his own private plane, and they live in Idaho, and he has like a bush plane where he can land like on grass and stuff, you know. And he and his daughter, he takes his little private plane and lands it in these like meadows so they can go hunting. And he and his daughter had gone hunting, and I guess he didn't calculate the weight right. And when he was taking off to come back to the little airport by his house, he and his daughter crashed. And they were okay, but she was like real banged up from the seatbelt and stuff, and she had like, it broke her nose and stuff. But yeah, he crashed.
I would be so scared. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like the private plane he has is like a little 2-person plane, so it's like real small, and it has like those big wheels on it so that he can land. You know, he didn't have to have like a runway. He can land like it's called a bush plane. You can land in the bush, you know, like. But yeah.
My dad hit a minivan. My dad's plane hit a minivan.
Oh my Lord.
The propeller sliced through the freaking hood of this minivan. They had 4 kids in it. Yeah,
oh my God.
You can find a news article on Google. You just Google it. Plane goes down on West End Boulevard.
In Louisiana, what is in like New Orleans?
In Louisiana, yeah, at Lakefront Airport.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I worry about my son constantly, especially with all these things that uh good night, Sabrina.
Night
Um
night,
Hi,
Sabrina.
girl.
every time I see these all these things going on with these drones and these plane crashes that have been going
Oh,
on the last couple weeks, I've been I text him every night. Please tell me you're at home. Please tell me you
Oh,
landed. Please tell me you're, at the hotel because he has overnights and stuff like that.
Girl.
Listen, that boy is my heart, okay? Both of my kids are. I was a single mom the whole time and they are my everything.
Yeah.
My whole life was them and ugh, I could not imagine if something happened to one of my babies.
that's what I'm saying.
Right. Thing mom is so funny.
yes, she is.
Who is
Thing
Thing
mom.
Mom? Do we know her?
Yeah,
Yes, that's my girly.
Thing Mom. What is
she's
she
so
saying?
faithful.
Man, if I'm driving and a plane hits me, I'll just go on and pass on. That's funny.
I'm sure them people thought they died.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine? You're just driving down the freeway, boom, get hit by a plane. That's like they better go buy a lottery ticket.
Um,
But I took my dad to church that Sunday. I was like, nah, you going to church, sucker.
It's been so
But
long since I stepped into church, it might go up in flames.
Boom.
yeah, I
Same.
ain't that. I ain't religious. I ain't really a religious person. But let me tell you, I sure did take my dad to church right after that.
I
My dad.
had I had a messed up religious childhood. I was raised Catholic and went to Catholic school, but my uncle became a Pentecostal preacher, and then my other uncle married a Baptist pastor's daughter. So I would go to Catholic church, Baptist church, and Pentecostal church. And I would be like, we would leave mass, and I would have my parents drop me at the Pentecostal church that was around the corner where my aunt and uncle went because they had tambourines and electric guitars. Okay. And then I was jamming out at that church, and then people started speaking in tongues and stuff. And I was like,
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then my
I don't
aunt,
like that when they start falling on the floor and like shaking. One time I just fell on the floor because they come to touch me and I was like, I'm nope.
look, my aunt
Candace
took
said, let me try this.
my aunt took me to this like little so there's like this little town in Texas and East Texas, and it's called the Devil's Pocket is what it's called. It's the name of the town. And most of the people in that town are Pentecostal, and there's like a little country church in a clearing. And like it's in this old wooden building and it's like this Pentecostal church. And I swear to the Lord, I thought they were gonna bring out some snakes. Like I'm like it looked like one of them churches where they bring out the snakes and
That
demons.
sounds crazy.
I was like, are they gonna have snakes here? Because she's Pentecostal. She cracks me up.
I
And
went to church with my daughter one time. And she wanted to go meet one of her friends at this church, right? Get there. The pastor is a woman. She's standing on the altar, ain't even got shoes on, okay? I'm like, wait, what is going on? This lady is up here with no shoes on the Lord's altar? Wait, I was raised Catholic, right? My mom changed her religion when I was like 15 to non-denominational. But I go to this church, I done seen some stuff, but I ain't never seen what I seen in this church. They was going around and touching people and they were falling out and they were covering them completely with these black blankets. Like if they were dead.
Mm-hmm.
uh
Yeah, I was like, oh no. I told my daughter, I said, I gotta go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom first. I come back, I'm like, we gotta go. I can't even stay here for this. I
in the
can't.
shopping center. Not the shopping center church.
Oh man.
King Mom was like, I went to a church and a shopping center. Jacob told me when he moved to Crowley that he was going to find him a black church, and so he could find him an auntie.
Well, those are the best ones. I'm not gonna lie. That's what saved my life whenever I was out there and like not in my right mind. It was like a black pastor and his wife. They absolutely saved my life. I will sing
Amen.
their praises every single day. Like I just decided I'm just gonna do everything this man tells me to do, and literally, I love them people
Yeah, but you got to pack a lunch sometimes. I've been to one.
because it's long.
You don't even know how long. Sometimes
They
that guy,
fed me.
no, like,
Oh
so
yeah, they usually have a
so
food.
my favorite teacher that I ever had was named Walter Anderson, and he was a big man. He was like big man, and also like a big man, like his personality, right? And I learned a lot about him. He was my favorite teacher in seventh grade, and he saved me from he would call my house because he was worried about me. He
Oh.
was always checking up on me. But when he passed away, um, I went to his funeral, and it was a black funeral. There was a couple of white people there, but he was a deacon at this church, and he had instructed people, I do not want an 8-hour service. I want y'all in and out, 2 speakers, be done, sing a couple songs. But I went back to that church a couple times because I just really liked it, because the choir was like amazing. And man, one day I had to leave. It was like 2 in the afternoon. I'm like, I've been here since 10 a.m. People, like, and my friend went to that church too, and she was like, "Oh, you better pack a sandwich." I was like, "You ain't kidding." I had to leave. I was like, "I'm hungry." Like, I'm used to church. You go in, Catholic church is you go in, it's 1 hour long. You stand, you sit, you kneel, you sit, you stand, you kneel.
That's weird to me too.
Peace be with you. Hallelujah, Hail Mary, out the door. Amen. 1 hour. I'm used to 1 hour, get my churching on and leave. And then every other church I've ever been to, like non-denominational, it's an hour to hour and a half. But this church went on for like 4 hours. And that's a lot of churching.
They be spitting that good shit though. I know
Oh,
that.
they had that preacher, when they do that certain tone and they're like hopping on one leg. Yeah, it was good. I just went for the hats. I just wanted to see the hats, because they all those ladies had on like the dresses with the matching hats and the
The
matching
big hats and
heels.
the fans.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Amen.
Old black church across the street from where I lived when I lived in Lafitte. And boy, they used to jam out, but they were there all day, like you say. They would have like their prayers in the morning, and then they have like a jam session for about an hour, and then they'd have like a meal. They had all kind of people outside eating and cooking, and
I didn't have no. I want to know that church. I would have liked to have a meal.
I'd be standing on my porch jamming out. Boy, they was getting it. They would be
Mm-hmm.
jamming out with some Christian music over there. I'd be like, dang.
Oh, this church was one of them churches where all the choir wore the long robes. You like they had the matching robes, and they like sway, like there was like 30 people in that choir. It was beautiful. The music was fabulous, but
This little church had a choir bigger than the church.
yeah, I couldn't hang with a 4 hour service.
Through the
I
church,
couldn't hang
singing,
for the
go out
Catholic
the
stuff.
side door and come back in the back door and keep making around when they were singing. That's how they would do that because the choir was bigger than the church.
Oh my god. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Catholic church is boring too. One
Yeah,
time
I've been one time.
I was in the children's choir for my school, and we were doing the Christmas like Christmas service, and they had us sitting in the choir pews in the front, and they had the microphone right next to me. And like, but it wasn't like in my face, it was just like at the end of the aisle, but I was nearest to it. And so I kept trying to make it where they would hear me sing, because I have an angelic voice. And and then the preacher, the priest, whatever he's called, he said something, and I leaned in and I said, "Amen," and it was like so loud. The nun looked at me. I thought I was about to get racked with a ruler, but she was like, because I was like, "Amen," and it reverberated everywhere. It was pretty funny.
I don't understand what you're supposed to do. Like my friend's mom had their funeral was at the Catholic church, and so I go And
Did they
that's
do
like,
the rosary?
you gotta stand up, you gotta sit down, you gotta go eat the little bread. I went to go get the bread. When I came back, this lady was like, "You're not supposed to do that unless you've been baptized into Catholicism." I was like, "Oh my God, I ate the bread. Oh, why y'all didn't tell me? Oh my God."
Yeah, you have to have your first communion and everything. I did that.
Yeah, that's what it was. That, yeah.
You got to be baptized. And so I didn't get baptized in the Catholic Church till I was 4 years old because they wouldn't baptize me when I was born because my mama got pregnant with me outside of wedlock and they weren't married in the Catholic Church. They got married at the Pentecostal church where my uncle was a preacher. And so my parents had to have their wedding blessed by the Catholic Church in order for me to be baptized in the Catholic Church.
Dang.
Yeah, I was 4 when I got baptized. Yep. Yep, because they were so strict. And yeah, I don't know. I don't do Catholicism anymore, but
I didn't get baptized. My mama dedicated me to, I forget how she said it, but like they took me to the church and the people blessed me to be able to do whatever I want to do, to choose my own religion when I grow up, is what they
yeah.
said.
Jacob chose to get baptized when he was 8 years old at the church we went to. It was just a non-denominational church, and he asked me to be baptized when he was 8, so he got baptized. And then my older son's never been baptized, and I think he's atheist anyway.
Yeah, I wanted.
Which one is this?
My older son, my 24-year-old son, he doesn't know what he believes, so I shouldn't say he's atheist. He's probably like agnostic, like he just doesn't know like what he believes. But my younger son, when he was little, I thought he was going to be a preacher because he would get up on Sunday mornings and go, "Mama, can we go to church?" I'm talking when he was like 3, 4, 5 years old, and we went to church every Sunday because he wanted to go. And he would never go to children's church. He said, "I don't want to go in there and color pictures of Noah. I want to be where the grown-ups are and listening to the Bible." So he would never go to children's church. He was the only kid in the congregation sitting in there and listening the whole time. And then he asked to be baptized, and so he got baptized when he was 8. And then he quit going to church for a long time. And then in high school, his senior year in high school, he started going to just we have a thing called Young Life, and it's like for high school age and college age kids on Monday nights. And he started going to that. And then now he goes to a Christian college, and he's a group leader for their chapel. And then he goes to a church there in Crowley, and now he's been sharing his story on TikTok. He's much more into church than anybody in my family. He loves it, and I support that.
Good for him.
He is. Except I told him when he gets all snappy with me, one of the 10 commandments is honor thy father and mother. So you best realize.
Oh, my mama loves that one.
Oh, girl, it's late. Y'all kept me up past my bedtime.
I know.
You gotta work tomorrow? Or are you off?
I'm off.
Candace is still up.
I know. I can't believe Candace is up either.
I can't believe I am up either.
You look sleepy, girl. You're looking sleepy over there.
I'm exhausted. I'm an old lady. It's past my bedtime. Hey, Kat.
You ain't old. I'm old. Me and Miss D.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah, we the old lady. But I'm gonna stay up way later than Candace. I might
Oh
still
yeah, Marty be staying up until what, 4 o'clock in the morning?
You crazy.
You stay up till 4?
4 o'clock in the morning.
Your babies do or you do?
Maldi? Oh,
Maul D does.
I'm talking. Oh, me too.
Yeah, and
I'm
you
sorry.
too.
Wait, Maldi, hold on.
They drag me up into the Dimes Live. Dime stays live till 1 o'clock, 2
Look,
o'clock in the
I'll
morning.
take it.
And
I'll
then
take that blame. Blame it on me.
and then they drag me in the Discord because we got to talk about the live, and then we stay in the Discord till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Now I'm gonna have to join the dang Discord.
Oh boy. Oh, I mean, hey, it's a good time to join, but back then, a couple weeks ago, it was
We done been through some trials and tribulations in there, I can tell you.
Yeah, but can you moderate who's in your Discord, or is it anybody?
Oh,
No, we can regulate it.
I'm working on it right now. I'm working on it. It's gonna get
It's
better.
just figuring out the roaches though, because they.
So is it better to be on it like on your computer since it's all typing?
No, it's on the phone. It's easier on the phone for sure. You could get on your computer, but
Yeah, but it's not all typing either. We get on voice chat.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's what I was asking. Like that I could do. I don't want to sit there and type out all day.
Oh
Yeah, I
no,
know it
you can
was.
get in voice
Yeah,
chat.
they don't like typing. They like to
That's
talk.
correct.
I voice to text, and when I voice to text, it says crazy stuff because I have a
Oh,
accent. I guess. Do I have an accent?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little
no.
country one.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, you do.
It's a tiny
I
twang.
have
She's
one
got a
because of my like. I'm pretty sure I'm on the spectrum. When I get around people, I pick up their accent.
Me too. Oh my God, me too.
Mm.
And like when I go to Louisiana, I'll be like talking like them. When I go up north, and it's so weird because I know I have a Texas accent. Like I know that, right? I did theater for a long time, so I tried really hard to get rid of my accent. But I was in San Francisco one time and I was at the airport and I was talking to this person and they're like, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Texas." And they like, "Well, you have a very New England accent." I don't sound like I'm from New England at all. Phew, it was a show. She's like,
You know what? While we're here, Candace,
What I
I'm
didn't.
definitely going to. I'm definitely gonna have to get on the just one time. Just give me one time so I can
What?
explain some things to you on the
Oh, on the
phone.
phone. Okay, you want to get on
Yeah,
FaceTime
one
too?
time, one time. Yeah.
"Well,
We'll do
I
one
feel
time.
privileged because Candace and I were on the phone
Hey, don't rub it in.
for 3 hours
Cause
the
I'm
other night.
salty, bruh. I'm real life, real salty.
3 hours.
Real hurt. 3 hours. See, stop. Right there. See?
Candace was like, "This bitch don't shut up." We were sharing stories and we were talking about what we were going to do tonight, but we were also like getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we
Yeah,
only knew each other on TikTok, and like DMs. We had never like talked, so we had to like get to know each other and
So you said 3 hours? You hear this, Maldi?
I'm listening, but listen, I'm gonna tell you now. What? Listen, Dom. Listen, you better make sure you got all your P's and Q's ready for the conversation.
do
This
a
gonna be the
PowerPoint.
last one.
Again, bro.
Look, this gonna be the last
I'm
one
gonna
for
have to
like
get
7 years.
Jennifer to get on the
You know the
phone
last time?
with her.
You wanna know the last time Candace answered the phone for me? About 7 years ago. 7 years. So you better make it good, girl.
I
7 years.
wait.
7 years
Look, I'm
ago.
gonna be
Wait.
like
Yeah,
Candace. Wait,
like.
let me think real good.
Is
Let me make sure I
Candace,
ain't
are
got
you
nothing
like, you
else.
better send a text? Don't call.
No, for real. If I could probably go get my husband and he'd tell you all he calls me 20 times a day and I go click.
Oh man. But at least he get to see you at the house.
You hang up on your man?
Girl, he just wants something stupid. He could send that in a text.
Poor bitch.
Candace does not like talking on the phone, y'all.
No. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get in touch with Jennifer. Jennifer is gonna call you. No, she gonna call me, right? And then she gonna do like the merge call, like 3-way. And I know you're gonna pick up, so
It's gonna be a
I'm gonna be
trick.
there.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be a trick.
yeah.
Dom, just call me tomorrow, bro. I'll answer the phone.
All right. And watch me forget. I'm gonna be pissed, bro.
Dom, hey, just go on Dom's live. She'll be on live tomorrow.
Okay.
Right?
I said,
My
just go on your
God.
live. You'll be on live tomorrow and remind you to call her. I'll go on your live tomorrow and be like, "Did you call Candace yet?"
I'm a in that live so fast.
Be right back.
Oops. She ain't even gonna say be right back. She's probably gonna hang up.
Hey, so Candace, do I need to type out my stuff and send you a copy?
If you want, yeah, you don't have
I'm
to.
gonna send you a PowerPoint with slides.
Mm. Y'all about to
I
get
made a
real fancy
whole
with this.
Word document
Girl,
Oh
about
my
so
Hallelujah.
god.
she told me she was going to email it to me and I couldn't find it. It was in my spam and I opened it up expecting like a one-page thing with like footnotes. No, girl, it was like 10 pages. I'm like,
She
how
is
much time? Girl,
prepared.
when did you type all that out? She like typed out verbatim a whole
Oh
script.
my gosh, Candace.
Candace, write a book, sister.
Like for
Well, no,
real.
because I have not been diagnosed, but I do suspect that I am on the spectrum, and it just helps me. Like I can't just say things on the spot, so it helps me to like write it down and see it
Right.
with my face.
Are you
Mm-hmm.
got a little of the tism?
I think so. I'm gonna
Don't let
talk to my. I
somebody
gotta go
else
to the
read
doctor
something out
Wednesday, and
here.
I'm gonna ask him to test me because I'm ready to know.
Really? I don't I know I have things. I know. I just know. But I'm okay with that.
Same.
My older son Dylan, he's on the spectrum, and that's why I'm so proud of him now because I told Candace how bad he was bullied in school, and I'm talking horrible, and I'm glad that he survived because
Really bad.
I didn't think there was I really thought there would be a time that I would wake up and he would be gone because it was that bad, you know. And but look at him thriving, and I want him to come back here and give the big finger to everybody who fucked with him so hard
Mm-hmm.
because all these girls that like wouldn't go out with him and were mean to him, yeah, maybe that's why he's making that bank. And
And he's so cute.
he's so handsome, and he like, oh, he's tall, he's got
Wait
curly
a minute,
hair,
how tall?
he's 6'1",
Ooh.
6'1". He's got curly hair. So his best friend's name is Travoy, and Travoy always begs me. He's like, I know Dylan's mixed, and I'm like, he's not because he's got curly hair and he has full lips, but he has a lot of freckles that come out in the sun.
Ooh.
And Travoy's like, everybody I know that's mixed has freckles, and I'm like, you've met his
Hmm?
dad. You've met his dad.
He's
His
like,
dad
you
is
lying.
Travoy calls me mama, and he's like, Mama, I just know somewhere. And I'm like, he's not, buddy, but you keep thinking that. But he's so handsome, and he dresses so good.
I'm gonna
He,
have to see a picture or something. But you know what?
hey,
Never mind. Never
go
mind.
on my page. About 3 days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, I posted a video of him.
Okay.
Of the day that he made 1,500 hours. It's
Let
Super
me
Bowl
see. I'll be
Sunday because I put on my Facebook while all y'all fools are watching Super Bowl Sunday. My son was making captain, making his careers soar while y'all was watching a football game.
here.
All y'all people that made fun of him.
I'm tired, y'all. I got to go to
Go to
bed.
bed. Somebody done snatched that wig. I think it would be funny if we wore wigs every time, but I don't own no wigs.
Are you really coming up in here asking who her brother is? You know who her brother is. Please. He's trying to
Here they
start something.
go.
Oh, late night. Oh yeah, it's almost 11 o'clock. He come to crepe us.
I guess it's time for me to go live so I can handle him.
All right,
Let me see.
I'm gonna hop on your live now.
Oh gosh, I'm not going live.
Ah,
This is enough live for me.
I'm gonna go take my melatonin and go to bed.
I know that's right.
My
No, that's
fiance has been
right.
gone. My stepson was in the hospital from Wednesday night. He just got out
Oh wow,
released today.
did it?
So my husband's been gone for 3 nights. So it's
Well, Annie, you know who her brother is if you sat there and watched her video, bro.
but that's the thing. They don't watch it. They just watched that one that went viral, and then it's all like, "You didn't help him. Who is he?" Blah blah blah. Like all the shit I've been talked about.
Do some more watching videos. Like the video, comment on the video while you're at it.
It don't take a lot of work. And then oh, y'all trying to ruin this man. Where's the proof? Like
Oh,
it's not hard to
please.
find.
For real.
But that's not what this live is about anyway. So
nope.
That's
You
ain't
about to get out.
own investigation if she wants to know more. Period.
Amen to that, because I'm sick of that.
And
I would
there's
just
no
start saying my
comments,
brother's
so.
like Sean Connery. My brother's Tom Cruise.
Well, Amy, if you really wasn't trying to start shit, we sorry, but like a lot of people fucking do nonstop all the fucking time. So
Yeah, and I'm not sorry.
Girl, we know. Girl, you did that other one live when I went on there one day and I was like, you did him dirty with that picture.
she really does pick the worst picture.
Dude, she did. It's like,
People send me that.
dude, it was just his crooked tooth. Like, and she had it blown up so big that all you saw was this crooked tooth.
Wait.
Thing is he takes those pictures of himself. It's not like Dom took those pictures of him. He took them
I
and posted-
understand, but like she blows it up, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God. I was
You know.
dying laugh. Like you used
We
that
all
picture.
looking at it anyway.
Yeah, I'm not.
I bet you what. Hey, you cannot
Girl.
say that you wasn't looking at that, bro. You
No, when you
cannot say you
posted it
didn't
up.
rewind. Like, wait a minute, what is going on?
No, like,
Mhm.
well, I knew who he was, and then like I didn't follow or whatever, but he would always pop up. But I told Candace like I was watching it because he always was eating the good food, and I'm fat and I like to eat, and so like he was always doing these food videos. Like that's all I thought about. I wasn't trying to be up in his inbox like, come over here and shabow on this. I didn't. I wasn't about that life. He ain't my type, but I was like, I said, I started watching him for the food. Like, I literally thought he was like a food person.
That's what a lot of
really?
people say. Like I see that comment a lot too. Like not the gumbo guy.
Yeah,
'Cause
like
that's his
seriously,
viral
I was
videos.
like, I kept going. I kept telling Todd, my fiance, I'm like, after watching, I was like, can we go to New Orleans? I want to go eat some food. Like, I haven't been to New Orleans in like 7 years, and it's because of those videos. He's always eating stuff, and I was like,
Eating
okay,
that
he's
gumbo
doing
with
food
that
reviews.
with them crusty lips.
Crust daily, you ain't right. Oh, but yeah, but I always catch Dom's lives when I'm going through. I'll be like, beep, Dom. I'll stop in for a minute, make a comment, and roll on through.
Yeah, people tired of me. For real.
No,
They're
I
like,
just
watch
don't.
you again on my For You page. Well, then block me.
I know, right?
Oh, I ain't mad about it. I'm just saying, like, I don't stay in people's lives for a long time usually.
Right.
I
No,
go
I'm
in there
just
and
talking about some people. They just be, oh, not you again on my For You page. Well, you don't know what the block button look like.
you don't stop. Keep scrolling.
Bro, does TikTok automatically put a filter on the live or something? I feel like I keep seeing my fuck. Am I just that tired?
What? I thought you looked good.
Yeah, look, I ain't tripping. The fuck?
Oh, did they?
You got a filter on.
Damn, I thought you was looking snatched.
I don't know. Me too.
I mean, she is. Candace got good skin. I be looking at her videos. I'm like,
I know. I want to punch
I'll be
her.
hating, bro. I'll be like, look at that skin, bro.
I love you too.
Yeah, they ain't no way I would get that close to the damn camera.
Are both your nose rings real?
Yeah,
I want to get my nose pierced.
I pierced them myself.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, you can buy the kit on Amazon for $7 and just do it now. Do it good.
Bring your equipment so I could. So you can do
I am
mine.
not piercing my own nose. Like I need somebody to do it. Because I had my eyebrow done and my tongue done back in the day.
I wouldn't do a tongue. I would not do a tongue. That's for sure. But
I ain't doing my own nose. I don't know how I would look. I don't know if I think I'm too old for a nose ring.
Candace tried to tattoo me.
Tried is the word. Tried because for some reason. So okay, I think I gave my brother a tattoo right before that, and it worked perfectly fine. Then I tried to get her a tattoo, and it's like the ink wouldn't stick to her skin or something.
I blew up. It was like puffing up and all that kind of stuff. I was like, man, what is going on?
Do you have a tattoo gun?
Yeah, I do my own tattoos too. Well, I don't know if we still have. I haven't done a tattoo in a long time, so I don't know if we still have the gun. Probably not.
Man, I couldn't do that neither. I have one and I wish I didn't have it, and it's ugly, and I have a tramp stamp and it's crooked.
Ooh.
And the older and fatter I get, the more crooked it gets.
Oh my
And
god.
it's ugly to begin with.
We're
And
not even gonna do that to ourselves.
I've
We
had
are
that tattoo for
beautiful.
30 years. For 30 years. I hate to even say that because I don't feel 50, right? Like, and when I say something like, oh, I got that when I was 20, and I'm like, dude, that was 30 years ago. I graduated high school 32 years ago.
Wow.
I
I'm
was,
going on 10 this year.
yeah.
What was that about?
That's all right. That's all right because all my son's friends still hit on me.
Period. Oh.
Hey.
He hates it too. He hates it because I have a big old booty, and so like they're always like, "Your mom's got a big fat ass,"
Wow.
and he's like, "Y'all don't be looking at my mom like that."
Too late.
God bless him. All right, ladies. Well, y'all have a good night. Candace, go to bed. You look like you're about to pass
I
out.
was about to say I'm getting off now. Okay.
Night.
Hi, honey.
Good
Bye,
night.
y'all.
Bye.
Don't you click
Bye.
that off button.
Why?
Don't
What?
you do it. No, I'm
What?
playing.
Oh.
Don't
Call
do
me
it though. Don't do
tomorrow.
it. Don't do it.
Bye.
Bye.
No.